Welcome to beautiful Victoria, British Columbia for the inaugural Touchdown Pacific game between the BC Lions and the Ottawa RedBlacks. Today marks the first time a CFL game is being played on Vancouver Island, and the 14,000 fans in attendance at Royal Athletic Park are beyond excited to be part of history today. It is a picture-perfect day on the West Coast as we kick off Labor Day weekend in the CFL.
What a day for football, baby. The Ottawa RedBlacks and every team in the CFL needs a franchise quarterback. Sean Burke and the RedBlacks found their man this offseason. Drew Brown, that's that man right there.
Storybook. Nathan Rourke coming back to his hometown. Things haven't started the way that he and many BC Lions fans had hoped for, but he's got another kick in the can at the tough Red-Black football team.
Justin Hardy has quietly positioned himself into the second leading receiver in the league. He's as consistent as they come. He leads the league in 100 yards receiving game and had a career high 11 receptions last week. He's definitely their #1 receiver.
After being released by the Detroit Lions, Matthew Betts back with the BC Lions. The 29-year-old coming off a career year in 2023, breaking Brett Johnson's CFL record for single-season sacks by a Canadian, ultimately being named the league's most outstanding defensive player. You should have heard the cheer when this man came onto the field today. Lion fans are absolutely ecstatic to have him back. And I'll tell you this, they are absolutely ecstatic to be here in Victoria, British Columbia. As mentioned, it's the very first game on Vancouver Island, and these fans, they are ready to party, they are ready to celebrate, and we're ready for a great football game. Kate Burness alongside Davis Sanchez, Matt Dunnigan, Milt Stiegel as we get set for a rematch between the BC Lions and the Ottawa RedBlacks. We'll get to the game in just a moment, but first, let's go to the field and join our Farhan Lalji. And Farhan, this is such a monster day on Vancouver Island, but also for these two teams as BC desperately searching for a victory.
Absolutely, two teams going in opposite directions. And you mentioned the party. I was on a BC ferry coming over here this morning. It was all orange. You know, the commissioner's just over here. I'm going to ask him, why did we not do this sooner? Clearly, they needed to play here in Victoria because there's a lot of excitement around this team and around this game. And they're all here to see the hometown boy, Nathan Rourke, who was born here in Victoria. And look, it's been a difficult re-entry to the CFL for him. The two games haven't gone the way he's necessarily wanted. He has been seeing the field a little bit better in practice this week, so we'll see if that translates here into game day. But he's not the only returnee from the NFL. You mentioned Matthew Betts is here as well, and boy, the Lions could sure use him. They need help rushing the passer. It's been a struggle for them in that area. And you know, you talk about the reception he got when he got on the field here. When he went into the Lions locker room, there was a lot of excitement there. He's only taken part in the walkthrough, so we'll see what he has, but you know he's going to be playing on some adrenaline. This is a team, the Lions, they've lost 5 straight thanks to what's happening in the West. They're still in the hunt, but they can't continue to do this, especially with a trip to Montreal next week. Ottawa, meanwhile, unbeaten in their last 6, but some changes in the receiving core. They don't have Jalen Ackland. They don't have Braylon Addison. Eli Stove and Andre Miller will make their CFL debuts, but the way things are going in Ottawa, couldn't imagine that they're going to struggle. They've been so good offensively.
Life has been good in the nation's capital, to say the least. But I'll tell you this, pretty much every single fan here today is in orange, so they're going to have to deal with that. But Milt, let's go back to the BC Lions for a moment, and they do need this victory. I don't remember a time on Labor Day where the top team in the West was 5-5-1 with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So the Lions are still in this. They haven't won a game, though, since July the 13th. I mean,
13th. It's been 5 games, and they were hoping that Nathan Rourke would be that catalyst to get him over the hump. But that hasn't happened yet. And everyone knew it was going to take some time, but he needs to make it happen. This team needs to make it happen. As you mentioned, the top team in the West is right there. There's no teams in the West with a winning record right now. So everyone in the West has an opportunity, but these BC Lions have to have this. They can't go 6 games in a row without winning the game, because otherwise there's going to be some questions that really need to be answered.
Yeah, one of these high-vaulted passing attacks, well talked about at the beginning of the football season when they were winning games, Kate, was led by VA. And then you bring in the young quarterback, Nathan Rourke, a lot of hoop and holler, but this football team has changed from then. You know, Hollins has been non-existent for several weeks. You know, I'm talking to Jason Tucker, the receiver coach, before the ball game, and Jason assures me you're going to see a different Hollins, and that's good news for Nathan Rourke. But he needs all hands on deck. Look, his favorite target is Justin McInnis. 15 targets in the last 2 weeks. 5 in the first quarter last week, and then the RedBlacks shut him down. He didn't see a ball come his way after that. So I really think in order for this team to get their win, Kate, they're going to have to turn things around and all hands on deck, including Alexander Hollins, who's got to come up with a big game to support his receiving core.
Yeah, I look at Nathan and I look at the internal clock and the timing of things for him, and I don't think he's found that yet. He's felt it. You look at, down there in the NFL, it's a different time clock. And Nathan's always been a guy who plays instinctually. He hasn't found that with the receivers. Also, that protection for that offensive line, they've got to stand back going. This offensive line needs help. You can look at this roster. I don't think this is an offensive line that's going to get them to where they want to be. So either they change the style of play, more play action, more run game, maybe keeping guys in, or they got to mix up the roster. Because this old line right now is not getting it done. Nathan Rourke needs time, and I think that will come with more reps back with these guys. But right now they have to find something. He's been under siege.
When everything seemingly is going wrong for the BC Lions, everything's been going right for the Ottawa RedBlacks. 6 straight games where they are undefeated. And you know what? Even the story of seeing Jeremiah Masoli and then he having the fantastic game, and then Drew Brown coming back and having the game that he did last week. I get that right now they're weak in the receiving core with all the injuries, but overall, Ches, it's a good time to be an Ottawa fan.
Absolutely. We talked about it briefly in the open. This is a franchise guy. I mean, this Drew Brown was the question coming into the season. It was who's the quarterback? Was this the right move in the offseason? And it's absolutely has been. This kid, the sky's the limit for Drew Brown, and he's got the weapons.
He does, but a couple of those weapons, as Kate mentioned, are out of the ball game, and Braden Addison and Ackland. But he got a guy stepping up, and Nick Martin last week had a career game, and Miller and Stowe for replacing the 2 veteran receivers. They're going to have to find their way and get their feet wet here, but they got plenty in Rhymes and Hardy. And if you give the ball consistently, and if you have the ball and you can possess the ball, you give it consistently to Armstead, good things are going to happen for you. I don't care who's behind the center.
Yeah, and last night we were at an event, and I was talking to Bobby Dice. And Bobby Dice, we have a strong relationship. I mean, he was my receiver coach for basically, 6 or 7 years, half of my career. So we talked about a lot of things, but we got down to talking about football. And as we were talking, there were so many people coming up to him, congratulating him on a great year. And the one word he was used was, this is fleeting. This is fleeting. I can't allow this, what's going on now, to get comfortable. I can't allow this to allow my team to get comfortable. He talked about Drew Brown and how Drew Brown, his greatest trait is trusting the process. Yes, he believes in himself. Yes, he is a gym rat or a football rat, but more so than that is he trusts the process, and he always knows that the process never ends. There is no end to this process. You have to continue growing. You have to continue getting better. And if you want to win a championship, that's the mindset you have to have.
And we talk about it all the time. You know, players go down and people have to step up. Look, good things are happening for the RedBlacks. You get Bryce Carter back in the lineup for them today, an all-star rush end, and you get Darius Bladuk back in the lineup at guard. And to me, it's going to help this football team tremendously.
By the way, I vote that we stay here for the entire long weekend.
Let's do it.
Labor Day weekend in Victoria, British Columbia. No one's mad about this.
Not bad.
Perfect weather. The people have been amazing. The hospitality has been unbelievable. We have had a time so far, and we're just warming up on the pregame show, by the way. Coming up, we got Randy Ambrosi stopping by to chat with Farhan Lalji, and we reveal our anytime touchdown scores. It's Touchdown Pacific from BC.
TD plays for the Lions, and the RedBlacks off to their best start ever. Rourke under pressure, and they've got him. Off to the left, it's intercepted. Over the middle, it's a touchdown. Wow. And Nick Mardner gets himself a touchdown. His first CFL touchdown. And it's caught. 5 touchdown. Look who gets it again. The best start for an Ottawa CFL team since 1978.
Well, before we give out our picks for tonight's game, let's take a look at what the betting public likes, as these are the 5 most popular anytime touchdown props over at FanDuel. Nathan Rourke, Alexander Hollins, and Justin McInnes taking up 3 of the top 4 spots for the Lions. The most popular anytime TD pick for tonight's game, it is Ottawa's Nick Mardner. We'll have 4 editions of the FanDuel Anytime Challenge this weekend, and right now we are all chasing the myth, the man, the legend, Davis Sanchez at the top of the leaderboard. Ches, nearly 7 units clear of Enoch for top spot in the challenge. Maddie Milt and I, we have some time to catch up, though, before the end of the season. I don't know all of a sudden how you went from last to first, but I feel like the whole thing's changed over. All right, let's get to our Anytime Touchdown picks now, and let's start with you, Davis Sanchez, and I'm just going to follow your lead if I'm honest.
Really?
Yeah, of course, you're number 1.
Let's go with William Stanback.
I like it.
I don't think there's been a matchup with the BC Lions offense and their receiving core where I think that they've been outmatched. And I look at this secondary right now in Ottawa. This is an athletic, good group. BC's got to run the rock to have success. I think William Stanback has a big day.
Well, that seems like a safe bet. You know, William Stanback finding his. I don't bet that way. Yeah, I go all in and I try to take some high odds. And the highest odd I got over this weekend is McInnes. And he's at like plus 1.8. And to me, that I like this because it's, 1, it's Rourke's favorite receiver. He's targeted him 15 times in the last 2 games. And 2, I like his size and finding the end zone. At 6'5", his catch radius, Milt. I'm throwing it up there, and I'm going to go to him often like he has been the last couple of weeks. I think he's going to find the end zone.
I hear you with the high odds, but I just need to win.
Yeah, see? Not worried about that, though.
I need to get myself back on the board. But you know what? I'm going with Nathan Rourke. I'm going with Nathan Rourke because, yes, he has struggled. And when you're struggling a little bit, you want to go to some things you know you can depend on, and we know he can use his legs. We saw last week he had the long run, and also he's also their short yardage quarterback. So if they do get on the goal line, they'll keep him in there.
Get you a little strategy.
Mackey will be in there short yardage. No, that's going to throw a kink in your plan.
They want to get Rourke in that end zone to get that confidence up. Yes. They're going to keep him in there.
You know what I depend on? Just choosing the same picks as Chessy's, to be quite honest with you. All right, let's take a look. There we go. There we go.
You never catch him that way.
I know, I understand, but at least maybe I can get second. So I know I can't close the gap because I'm not going to get a chance to do that. We're both on William Stanback, but all 4 of us pick somebody from the Lions to score. Our anytime TD picks for Lions and RedBlacks officially locked in. Here's Farhan standing by with the commissioner, Randy Ambrosi.
Randy, over 14,000 here. You've been here all week. You've felt the atmosphere. So I've got to ask you, what took you so long?
Oh, my gosh. Well, isn't this is special. Yeah, long overdue, but great to be here. And, you know, I'm so happy for the community, for the Lions, for all of these fans. And I'm happy for Amar Doman. You know, this is part of his. This team belongs to the entire province project. And, you know, I just watching him, I think this is just a great outcome, and it's going to be a great game today.
Yeah, when you look at, you know, what this game has been doing the last few years, there's been a real focus from the Maritimes and back east. When you see this, does it give you maybe some different ideas as to the future of the touchdown games?
Yeah, you know, in fact, look, we're going to be excited to be here today, and then we'll start talking about next year tomorrow. And we've had several communities that put up their hand and, you know, expressed interest in potentially hosting a game. I'd like to think this community will be talking about the potential for another one. Bottom line is the energy here is unmistakable, and it's setting up for what's going to be a very, very special day and part of a very, very special Labor Day weekend.
The Lions will welcome back Matthew Betts. They've also got Nathan Rourke that's recently come back, but it's also caused a level of angst among CFL fans as to the salary cap and how binding it is. As the commissioner, I'm sure you want great players in the league, but are there any concerns about what's spent to make that happen?
No, you know, like we got a very good system. Our salary management system is, I call it foolproof. It's because we put a lot of time and energy and care into making sure we do thorough audits. Look, I've talked with Dwayne Vanneau. I know they're going to stay within the cap. They've got a plan for how they're doing this. And look, it's an unmistakably good thing to have Matthew Betts and Jason Rourke back in, or Nathan Rourke, I should say, back in the league. So I think they've got it figured out. We'll do our job and make sure they stay, within the white lines. And, all in all, it's a great thing for the CFL.
Another big piece of news this week was Sean Lemon, and the league won its arbitration case in terms of being able to continue with an indefinite suspension. My understanding is that he doesn't want to play again and might even make reapplication this year. What does Sean Lemon need to do to play again in the CFL?
Well, right now we're focused on the Labor Day weekend, and this is going to be a sprint to the final. Look, 3 teams with 5 wins, 1 with 4, 1 with 3. The West is wide open. We're really not thinking about that right now. We're thinking about the future of this season, and at some point there'll be time for a conversation, but it's just not today.
Last thing I'll ask you is, you mentioned it there that the West is wide open and a number of teams close. The East has been great, and we talk about it early in many seasons, and then it turns. It hasn't turned this year. Is that good for the league?
Well, there was not that long ago. It was not that long ago that people asked me how was I going to fix the East, and here we are with the East is completely flipped and just having this amazing season, and the West is going to be what could be just a pile-up of possibilities. So I think it's exactly the way it is. It's cyclical. I'm so happy for, Montreal's playing great. Ottawa's playing great. Toronto looks to be, on its way to another great season. And I wouldn't count Hamilton out because they played really well in Winnipeg last weekend, and they're at home on Monday, and they played great on Labor Day Mondays at home.
Randy, thanks for this. Enjoy the day.
Yeah, great. Thanks. Nice to be here. Thank you.
He's got the hat and sunglasses. The only people in suits are up there at the panel. Kate?
I don't know why we didn't wear T-shirts and shorts, Farhan. Fresh after signing with the Lions for the remainder of the season, Matthew Betts catches up with Farhan, and BC Lions owner Amar Doman joins the panel to discuss the success of Touchdown Pacific. The party has been going on all week here on Vancouver Island. The Touchdown Pacific Fan Fest was a hit over the Ship Point Harbor. We got to take part in some activations where Milt Stegall clearly cheated against me in this running race. Now look at it, I got tied up. There were kids in there, I couldn't get around, but then all of a sudden, Chessie has an arm.
Dime.
Like he threw a dime.
Absolute dime.
And then Matty steps up, he's still got an arm. I mean, you're just trying to show up children. I don't know how that went. Safe to say fans are thrilled to have the game here on Vancouver Island. That would be an understatement, just the energy around this town as they get set for the RedBlacks taking on the Lions. Let's go back to the field and join Farhan, who's standing by with Matthew Betts.
Matthew, I know when things didn't work out in Detroit, you just wanted to get back playing. So how excited are you for today?
Excited. I mean, yeah, it's a great environment for football. Happy to be back on this train here in BC, and yeah, hopefully we get a win.
How much of a whirlwind has this been, just going there and making this decision so fast, getting here?
Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, yeah, it all comes to here. It all comes to playing good football. That's what I'm here to do. So hopefully go out there, execute, play hard, and good things will happen.
This team needs some help defensively in terms of its pass rush. How much do you think you can add right now?
Yeah, like I told you, I'm just here to play hard. I know we got every tools, every players we need in there, and I mean, I'm really confident with the group of guys we got, and I'm just ready to play and yeah, cut it loose today.
Good luck, Matthew.
Thank you, Farhan.
One guy that is absolutely thrilled to have Matthew Betts back in the lineup is on our panel. That is BC Lions owner Amar Doman. Amar, thank you so much for joining us on the panel here today. And congratulations on Touchdown Pacific. We knew when you took over the ownership of the Lions, you wanted this to be British Columbia's team. Touchdown Pacific was an idea. It came to fruition. It's in your hometown. What does it feel to be here right now?
I got to tell you, if you're not here, you can't feel this vibe, but it's incredible. Personally, it means a lot. And also to walk around, see the fans, see how engaged everybody is here for this football game, and just, you know, there's an energy here. I got to tell you, this is a dream come true, Kate.
Omar, I know that you got coaching in you, and with your current, I know you coach, and I mean, you've got a passion for the sport and what you do. And the team's sliding in the wrong direction at 0-5. From your perspective as a coach, not as an owner, but as a coach, what do you see they got to do in order to turn it around?
Sure, that's an easy one.
Okay.
We
would like this. We're going to break it on the panel right now.
You got to just spend some more money.
We've done a bit of that. So what I'll tell you is this, you know, the games have been close in this slide we've been in. We've scratched back, and a little bit of garbage football at the end sometimes, but this team is a good roster, and I think that we clean up a couple of the mistakes. These games are very different. It's time to clean them up.
Yep, there we go. Touchdown Atlantic was special. We had a great time there, but Touchdown Pacific has been really special. So I think you know where I'm going with this. And I know you don't control all of it, but will we see this next year and years to come as part of the Labor Day Classic brand?
So, we've had these discussions. Great question, Mel. We're talking to the CFL about this. We're talking to the province, the city of Victoria. And, a dream would be to have another Labor Day battle here with us in Ottawa. And if we could work on that and make it happen and make it make sense, I should say, I'd be all in to do that.
And one more question. Last night when you were speaking, you said you went back home and saw your mother and fell asleep on the couch. Maybe I should ask your mother. Maybe she'll have the answers to this question.
What do you say to folks? As we've been talking and walking around, and guys are excited, fans are excited about this squad. You might have two of the best 3 quarterbacks or 4 quarterbacks in the CFL on your roster, adding Matthew Betts. What do you say to folks who say, hey, this is unfair, they're spending all this money, buying players? What do you say to that?
I've told Neil and Dwayne, of course, we want to win football games. Those 2 particular players, we're unbelievably proud to have them back. And by the way, we weren't the only guys sending letters to these guys. And I think that tells a lot about our organization. They were happy to come back to the BC Lions, and there was a lot of action on them. So for us, it tells me we're a good organization.
Let's talk about this field a little bit, because now you get all this talent and it's on display in front of these 14,000 fans. So this is the home of the Victoria Harbour Cats. This is a baseball stadium. I remember looking at the photos when they first sent it, and I thought to myself, how is this going to be converted into a football field? This looks incredible, but how much work was put in to make this look the way it is today?
Great point. The amount of work that's gone in here to convert this from 3,000 almost to 15,000. The field, the greenskeepers, this is an unbelievable transformation we've seen. Hats go off to everybody that worked on this, right from the CFL, right through everybody. Big thank you.
We've been on a bit of a roll here since coming and joining Victoria and everything it has to offer. Getting to know some of the locals and local establishments. Omar, I see that smile on your face because I think you know where I'm going this. You've got a suite right next to us right here. I just want to know, is the bar going to be open throughout the football game?
It never closes.
I like that. I like it.
Well, yeah. Well, I want to say thank you for allowing us to be out here. This has been special. You always treat us so well. We're grateful for this, and as I alluded to earlier, I'm hoping this continues for years to come, because this could be something special, and I think everyone involved would say the same.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Amar, the only criticism, I'm not even kidding you, that I have heard is that fans couldn't get tickets. And that's a good thing, though, isn't it? At the end of the day, you turned a 3,500-seat stadium into a 14,000-seat stadium. But if you were to do it again, do you think there's any possibility that this could be bigger?
So we've been looking at that already, saying, hey, if this did happen again, what could we improve on as far as, more bleachers, maybe more in the end zones, etc.? The answer is yes, we could do more, and I'll tell you what, those seats will fill.
There we go.
Amar, thank you so much for joining us on the panel. Congratulations on Touchdown Pacific. By the way, I see your family's in attendance as well, too.
Hey, can I change my pick?
Super
because
special.
Amar's son's over here. He has a Hatcher jersey on. Can I change my Touchdown Pacific? I want to change it to Hatcher because
there we go.
Buddy.
You know what? They're going to be the analysts for the rest of the way. Yes. They're working now, not you.
Stand there.
Welcome to beautiful Victoria, British Columbia for the inaugural Touchdown Pacific game between the BC Lions and the Ottawa RedBlacks. Today marks the first time a CFL game is being played on Vancouver Island. Let's get you down to the field for the pregame ceremony.
Virginia Union University.
Dave Mackey, 8 Mayfair.
Alex Hollins, PRR.
Keon Hatcher, Grutter University. Javon Katoy, Tight End University.
Justin McInnes, Arkansas State University.
Aiden Everhart, University of Wyoming.
Jarrell Broxton, Baylor University.
Tyler Packer, University of Calgary.
Michael Couture, SFU Football.
Suk Chung, University of Calgary, Go Dinos.
Ken Perkins, the University of Texas in Austin.
Janeto Helma, Yata University.
Josh Banks, Wake Forest University.
Marcus Moore, UCLA, Utah State.
Ryder Varga, University of Virginia.
Ace Ely, Georgia Tech.
TJ Lee, Eastern Washington.
Gary Peters, East Atlanta.
Emmanuel Gumba, Miami of Ohio University.
Ronald Kent Jr., Harrisburg High School.
Keontae Evans, University of Nebraska.
Adrian Green, Scarborough U.
Kyle Nelson, New Mexico State University.
Sean White, White Rock Titans.
Colin Maya, Pietermaritzburg, South Africa.
Taylor Williams, Irwin Community College.
Mathieu Betts, D-Line, Montreal.
Fans, we'd like to acknowledge we are gathered here today together on the ancestral and unceded lands of the Cossipsum and Songhees nations. Now at this time, if you're able, we invite you to please stand and remove your hats as we join the Naden Band from CFB Esquimalt in the performance of O Canada. Today's flag party is composed of members of the Royal Canadian Navy from CFB Esquimalt. Carrying our flag are members of the Royal Canadian Navy, Canadian Army, and the Royal Canadian Air Force based in Victoria. Following our national anthem, there will be a fly past of a Cormorant search and rescue helicopter from 442 Squadron based in Comox.
Look at this.
Well, welcome to Victoria for the first time in CFL history. It's Touchdown Pacific from Vancouver Island, and I'll just say it, it's awesome. An excellent buzz here at Royal Athletic Park for a rematch between the RedBlacks and the Lions. It was Ottawa taking the first half of this home-and-home last week. BC looking to snap a 5-game slide. They brought back a familiar face a couple of weeks ago, and now they've done it again.
Well, one of the stars of this game certainly is the city that we're in Victoria. But yes, the BC Lions get two former award winners back. 2 weeks ago, quarterback Nathan Rourke returned to BC and was inserted immediately into the lineup due to the injury to Vernon Adams. He returns to his birthplace here in Victoria looking for his first win. Matthew Betts was the outstanding defensive player last year. He's only been through a walkthrough, but he's back in a Lions jersey. Drew Brown for Ottawa is only in year one as their franchise player. what he's done is simply gone out and win games, including last week versus the Lions, where he threw for 390 and 3 touchdowns.
Bob Dice has this Ottawa team rolling like none other in franchise history. In their last 6, they are 5-0-1. Very impressive. The exact opposite on the other side, where Rick Campbell had a team that won 5 games in a row and then lost 5 games in a row. And they're going to try to switch things up. Maybe a trip across over to Victoria gets things on track. Get to the chopper. There it is, rescue chopper. Out of Esquimalt. Getting us fired up prior to the game. Nothing like a flyover to get us ready for some Canadian Football League action. Labor Day weekend begins in Victoria, and we are underway. Williams will take it just outside the 15, pushes it back up to the 35. Williams tripped up. Nice return, though, as he takes it all the way back up to the 45.
2 starts for Nathan Rourke since he's returned to the lineup. His first against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Completed just 8 passes against a real strong defensive effort that night. And then was better in the game against Ottawa last week. Completed 74% of his passes in that one. So improvement made from week 1 to week 2.
Looking for that first touchdown pass. It would be fitting to have it here in Victoria. Stanbeck slides over to the left of his quarterback. Ottawa's going to bring about 4 or 5, dumps it off to Stanbeck inside. First down, made a man miss, and now he's going to take it down inside the 40. A bang on the first play of the game for BC.
Well, if you watch the pregame show, you know the panel talked about the importance of William Stanback, who had just 1 yard shy of 100 yards rushing against Ottawa last week in that game where the Lions didn't win. But he also can catch it out of the backfield, as you saw right there in play 1.
All the way down to Ottawa's 34. Back on the ground, Stanback again. Pushes it up the middle. Let's take a look at this BC offense.
Leading receiver in the league is Justin McInnes, who was targeted 5 times last week and caught all 5. They're going to need both tackles, Perkins and Broxton, to play well against Lorenzo Malden and Bryce Carter back in the line, and we'll get to there. And there's McInnes, who's leading the league in receiving yards, and probably, you know, if you're a BC fan right now, you're knocking on wood, probably gets to 1,000 yards here this evening.
46 away. Had 5 catches last week. All of them came in the first quarter for McInnes. A little bit of pressure here. Rourke stays in the pocket, in trouble, trying to get away, and he does. Finds a man over the middle, and that'll bring a huge roar of applause and appreciation from the crowd here in Victoria.
Jarrell Broxton possibly went down there on that play. Just great escapability for Nathan Rourke. This is what we saw a couple of years ago in BC. Just ability to stay alive, keep a play alive, and keep his eyes downfield. See what this injury is.
Ended up finding Eberhardt, his 23rd catch of the season. 39 yards through the air for Rourke on this drive, but Broxton, his left tackle, remains down on the field.
You got the legs cut out from underneath him on a play. He's working on the outside right here, and it looks like one of the interior linemen for the RedBlacks is going to get blocked into him right here on the stunt. And you see he goes down holding that right knee.
Such an important piece on this line for BC. It's their most outstanding lineman nominee last year for the Lions. And he will be helped off the field. Not much weight on that one leg. David Neville into the game on the offensive line. Sets up at that left tackle position. Rourke gives it to Stanback. Force takes it down just shy of the 10, and that'll be another first down for the BC Lions. What a drive to get them started here.
Excellent drive out of the gate for Nathan Rourke, who returns to his birthplace here in Victoria and would love to get that run game going so he has great balance in the offense, keep the defensive line, a very strong defensive front four, at bay.
46 total yards of offense for Stanback already in this ball game. Rourke up under center. Hollins will swing behind him. He'll give it to Stanback, trying to find some space behind the line, but that does not open up for him.
Bryce Carter missed last week's game against BC, but he is back in the starting lineup for the RedBlacks. Big loss at the linebacking core. Javon Santos-Knox not starting and not dressed for this one. Davion Taylor will take over for him. He is the heart and soul of that defense. And in the back end, Elijah McGee has got 2 picks in the last 3 games. He's basically played three games now. 4 games and 3 starts, but has 2 interceptions during that time.
2nd and 9, a passing situation here for Rourke. Looks over the middle, has a man towards the end zone. Stopped just short. First down.
It's Javon Catoy, just outside move, and then sees Rourke looking to the inside seam, and he has leverage on the inside, gets down and uses that body to block out the defender in Damon Webb, who's having an outstanding season in that secondary for Ottawa. Gets him down on the 1-yard line.
1st and goal from the 1. Rourke will stay in the game and take care of the short yardage duties, trying to push his way towards the end zone, and that initial battle is blown back. A flag flies out at the 20 here as well.
Major foul, horse collar tackle. Ottawa, number 37. Automatic first down.
Get the first down. They can't get any closer. The ball has to be on the 1-yard line, but Dandridge from the back, you see him grab the back of the shoulder pads of Nathan Rourke and pull him down from behind.
A rough ride for Rourke, but he'll look to finish it again. Pushing in. This time looks like he's there. He is. Touchdown Lions on the Pacific. Rourke returns to the end zone.
Returns home, returns to the end zone. And this offense got kick-started with drive number 1. It's been the issue. Well, it hasn't been the only issue for the Lions through this 5-game skid, but what a great start here in front of the home crowd. And make no mistake, it's not a neutral site game.
No, it is a heavy Lions contingent here. And they will like that start for an offense that's been stuck in neutral as of late. Started so red hot. This BC Lions offense had that 5-game winning streak, and now try to snap a slide. Sean White will come out to knock one more on the board. That is up. That is through, and the BC Lions drive the field. 8 plays, 65 yards to start this ball game, and it's Nathan Rourke who finishes it on his own. Well, welcome back to Victoria, and here's a look at the rich sports history of Victoria. Major events hosted right here in this city and on this island.
World Juniors shared with the island and with Vancouver. Of course, the home of 2-time NBA MVP Steve Nash.
Heard of him? How about the Stanley Cup champions back in 1925, Victoria Cougars? Who would have thought that 99 years later we'd be playing CFL football right here? Dedman on the return. He's a dangerous one, and he stays on his feet. He's got something cooking here. Takes a look behind him, and eventually is wrapped up just beyond midfield by Patrice Rene. As Dedmon's up to his old tricks. Drew Brown torched the Lions last week. He'll get the ball for the first time when we return to Victoria. Well, Drew Brown kind of had his way with the BC Lions last week. 390 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all. In fact, not a lot of news and headlines about Drew Brown. We talked about a lot of other quarterbacks in the league. Not necessarily him all that much, and we should be. He deserves it already. He was 390 and 3 TDs, as I mentioned last week, but he has won 4 games in a row where he's averaged 363 yards passing.
Great field position from the BC 48. They'll start it on the ground a couple of yards before being driven back by the Lions defense against this Ottawa offense.
One change in the old line. Darius Bladek is back in at right guard. Jacob Ruby will move out and be the extra lineman. And in the receiving core, 2 newcomers. Jalen Acklin is out, so is Braylon Addison. So Andre Miller out of Maine, and out of Auburn, Eli Stove, who's going to fill in for them. We'll see how that affects this offense if it does.
5 years at Auburn for Eli Stove. 4 receivers out to the right for Brown. Lions will bring 5. Brown hangs in the pocket. Over the middle, almost intercepted by A.C. Lee. Oh, he'd want that one back.
A.C. Lee is going to move to the outside and almost get in an inside zone look, cut across on that dig route, and yeah, he is right there. Just did everything right except finish with the catch. Starting in the middle for Ben Haladic.
Ione stands on his own 50. He gets set to kick this away. No wind for this one. That hangs up there. Williams hustling over. Takes it just outside the 10. And he is stopped on a short return just outside the 15. Nathan Rourke starting this game 3 of 3 through the air for 48 yards and a touchdown on the ground.
Great opening drive for Nathan Rourke. Went 8 plays for 65 yards, was 3 for 3. Started out getting Stanback involved. Did a nice job to elude the tackle there and keep the play alive. And then down to the goal line with a nice throw on target. Finished with a quarterback sneak. 409, 65 yards. 4 touches, by the way, in that drive for the 8 to William Stanback.
He stands in there to the left of his quarterback. This drive starts on the Lions 16. They'll give it back to Stanback again. Broke 1 tackle, but not the second. But does lug it out just beyond the 20. Pretty reasonable second down range here for the Lions.
Well, they've figured out how to work Stanback into this lineup and make him effective. And, you know, that takes some timing, getting used to the offensive line, getting used to how they block and where those holes are going to be. But Stanback in his last 2, 199 yards. And that's against Ottawa's defense and the Bombers' defense. 199 yards in 2 games.
Nice workload. They really don't bring him off the field ever. Stays in there this time. Rourke, far side, has a man. And that is held on to for the first down. Second catch of the game for Eberhardt.
Eberhardt's getting more and more involved. Targeted 33 times, well, 2 times in this one. So 34 targets throughout this season, but of late has become more and more. Now this was a sort of last read in the progression.
Rourke, they'll move him to his right. Looks down the field for McInnes. He went up and got it, but he did not come down in bounds right in front of that RedBlacks sideline, and the opposition saw it immediately.
You can see that Nathan Rourke's decision making. You can see the jump in his step playing back here in Victoria, but most importantly wanting to get that first win. The Lions need it desperately.
As just a team, you're right. They got to snap this slide. 5 wins in a row, followed by 5 losses in a row.
Looked like McInnes was on that white stripe.
Rourke with time. Down the field, McInnes again. This time he's got him. Takes it down inside the 40. And Rourke with a big strike has the Lions back in business again.
Well, you see the timing coming back. You see the accuracy coming back for Nathan Rourke. Now in start number 3. You knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of how long would he get the angles back. A bigger field, wider field than he's used to in the last 2 years. But that accuracy is back. That dropped it right in the bucket. 2 defenders right there with McInnes.
Rourke already has 100 yards passing. This time he'll toss it out to Stanback, who had a couple of yards before being driven back by this Ottawa defense.
Take another look at that big throw down the middle. Justin McInnes, the leading receiver in the CFL, as we mentioned, getting close. See that little outside move just to buy himself a little bit of inside leverage, and Rourke put it right on the money.
He got that there just in time, didn't he? McInnes, big first quarter last week. 5 catches, 76 yards, and then the RedBlacks shut him down. Second and 8.
A couple yards away from 1,000.
Rourke looks to his right, throws in that direction. Couture's got it, and he's taken down at the 20. Another first down for the Lions, and Rourke is settling in nicely here.
Well, 2 years ago, what impressed me most about Nathan Rourke was his processing speed. How quickly, when the ball hits his hands, does he make the decision as to where to throw it? And in that last play, it was back to that old form. 2 steps back, ball is out of his hands immediately. Tough to get home as a defensive line when the ball is out of your quarterback's hands that fast.
Fresh set of downs from the Ottawa 20. Stanback, nice jump cut to his right. Takes it right up the middle. 5.5 to play in the first.
2 stars coming back home. Not only Nathan Rourke, but the owner, Amar Doman, coming back home. I call him one of the stars. In fact, one of the MOPs of the league over the last couple of years.
I think he's made a little bit of an impact, Suits. I'd agree with you there. Well, you tell the panel fell asleep on his family couch last night back at home.
Yeah, came back, has the same house he grew up in Oak Bay.
2nd and 6. Stanback will flare out. That's where they go. They'll give it to him. The running back looking for some space. And he's close to another BC first down. We'll take a look at it, and it will, in fact, be a first down for the Lions.
The key to the success of this play is to get it to 31 quickly. Get it to him so he can turn around, see what he's got in front of him, let the blocking develop. Keon Hatcher ran 1 defender off, and Stanback gets a nice gain and a first down. But getting the ball early was the key.
BC with 10 first downs in this ball game. Ottawa, nothing just yet. Hollins will slide over into the slot to the left of Rourke. He'll give it to Stanback, barreling his way right up the middle and takes it down to about the 5. And they know what they're doing with Stanback, don't they?
Well, clearly he's a big part of this game plan, and he should be. I mean, going back to last week, was a bright spot 2 weeks ago against Winnipeg. Also a bright spot, had 100 yards in that game. And this is a tough team to run against. That's a great front 4 in defense. But as I mentioned, without Javon Santos-Knox in the middle, nothing against Davian Taylor.
That's a big loss.
But that's a big loss. He's their leader in there.
2nd and goal from the 5. Rourke in the pocket, dancing around, throws it to the corner, and it falls incomplete. Hollins was lurking around over there with a couple of RedBlacks in coverage.
Yeah, basically double teaming Alexander Hollins, and I heard Matt Dunnigan in the pregame show talk about Hollins trying to get going. I mean, this guy started out so hot, the big plays down the field, and since then has really fallen off the map. So getting him involved is going to be key to the Lions snapping this losing skid.
Sean White, near perfect. Had the streak snapped last week. This is a chip shot for the CFL's all-time field goal percentage leader, just inside the left hash. And he pokes it home. BC on top 10-0. And they've added this guy back to the lineup. Matthew Betts, more on a crazy week for him when we return to Victoria. Well, first it was Nathan Rourke returning, and then this week the BC Lions go out and bring back Matthew Betts, who was an absolute monster last season. 18 sacks. He was at Detroit Lions camp. He's now back with the Lions here in BC, and he'll make an immediate impact, I would think, on this team. For more on that, let's send it down to Farhan Lalji.
Yeah, Dustin, it's been a whirlwind for Betts, who was informed he was being released last Monday, went back to Montreal, spent a few days with his friends, and wanted to get through the waiver process and get back to playing football. It mattered to him not only that he could get back to the CFL and play right away, but that he could play this week. So while there was a lot of interest, it just made sense for him to come back to BC, where there's so much familiarity with the players in the locker room, with John Bowman, the defensive line coach. They gave him a hero's welcome when he arrived back into town on Thursday here in Victoria, and really it was just the walkthrough on Friday that he took part in, so he's completely going on adrenaline. Now, the book on Betts when he was here before was that he struggled against the run, even though he was an elite pass rusher, and while he didn't gain weight to go play in the NFL, he does believe he learned a lot there about that part of his game and thinks he'll be better for it when he comes back.
We will keep eyes on that. There's a completion for Brown. Prior to that, the net yards in the first quarter here, 154-2 in favor of BC. There's Betts.
Yeah, just one walk through practice as mentioned by Farhan, but that's different for a defensive player than it is for a quarterback to not have a lot of practice time and the timing that's necessary on offense. And I think Matthew Betts can, you know, he'll play motivated. The question is how is he physically in shape?
Yeah.
In this game, it happens quickly. There's only 20-second clocks, and can Matthew Betts, you know, is he going to get gassed as this fourth quarter comes around? And remember, too, the Lions are on the sunny side. So as this game goes on, the shade is going to hit the RedBlacks, and the Lions in their black jerseys are on the sunny side of the field all game long. See if that affects them late in this fourth quarter. Now they had to be good hosts to Ottawa.
Yeah. So I was gonna say it doesn't affect us. We're in the shade on this side. So tough hand.
You got your man
over there. I'm all right.
You got your man.
3rd and 1. Pushing ahead. Oh, that's close, but was that initial push enough, or did the BC Lions just get this ball back? Look at that spot right at the 50, which is where I think they had to get to, but Ottawa needs this because they went short yardage from 2 yards back. Now they try to do it again.
Well, they only had the ball for 2 plays in this quarter before that first throw in this drive from Drew Brown. So yeah, they desperately need to give their defense a rest.
They're gonna,
at the very least,
take a measurement here. They have placed the ball on the 50, which is
right
close
at the line.
To where I think
they're
they had
take
to
a look.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, I thought they needed the 50. The ball's right on the 50, but they're gonna be extra careful with this one. This place will erupt if the Lions take this thing away. Turnover on downs. Look at this. Just enough.
By half the football.
Just enough. Well, maybe that's Ottawa settling in a little bit here offensively. They've been excellent at home this year. Ottawa 5-0-1. Put up to 34 points against BC last week. Bit of a different story here in Victoria. 4 receivers, left side, empty backfield with Brown. And multiple flags here.
Procedure, Ottawa 65, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
That doesn't help.
That'll back them up 5 more, and it'll be a 1st and 15.
Drew Brown has been excellent on those intermediate 15 to 20-yard throws over the middle. He may need one here.
Right in his wheelhouse, what you're thinking. 55.9% between 10 and 20 yards. He looked for a deep shot instead. It was deflected as he threw it. Be picked up on the far side by Armstead, and he'll step out of bounds as BC's defense continues to cause issues for Drew Brown here.
I believe that comes from the top. Nice swim move.
Falanico.
It is Falanico. Tough to see that number around the edge. Giuliano Felonico rotating in, and Matthew Betts in on second down, so he'll play the right side with the ball on the far hash.
2nd and 17, a tall task here for Drew Brown. Brown waits, dumps it off. They'll try to take it right up the middle, and that's going to come well short of what they needed for the first down in the hands of their running back, Brock Armstead.
Yeah, that's what Ryan Phillips, the defensive coordinator for the Lions, wants. He's going to drop off and rush with just 4, drop into that zone, and the idea is to force Drew Brown to throw it to his back underneath on a check down and then rally to the tackle. Mission accomplished for the BC defense there.
Leone boots it away from his own 45. Hangs up there nicely. Williams takes it cleanly. And he'll be driven back. There's a flag on the field there. I think we'd ever have a way to tie this in, but we finally do out here with the Dragon Boat Festival.
How are the scenics from the harbor in the city here?
I told you earlier.
No yards. Ottawa number 33. It's 15-yard penalty, first down.
I could come out here 6 or 7 times a year to call a game, I'll tell you that.
Well, you know, the purpose of these games, these games in different cities, is started out sort of as a way to test whether or not a city could look at an expansion team. That was the Touchdown Atlantic experiment out on the East Coast. I think it's evolved since then. It's not necessarily to test a market for the possibility of its own franchise, which may happen down the road, who knows, but it's more just to bring the game and the brand to fans that have not seen it in this country.
Just an event now.
Yeah,
it's an event.
A special event, and we're going to see more of it.
Far side, lays it up there, and that's broken up neatly by Dandridge. As Rourke was looking for Hollins, but could not find him. First quarter in the books here at Touchdown Pacific in Victoria. And the Lions off to a great start, looking to snap a 5-game losing streak. They lead 10-0. Well, a special weekend out here on Vancouver Island means a couple of special events, and we saw one a little bit earlier in the week as the Grey Cup was out at the Commodores Cup, which is a flag football battle between the Vancouver Island Navy and the Air Force. And I gotta love that little competitive rivalry between the two organizations.
Well, this is Maritime Forces headquarters, Joint Task Force Pacific headquarters, and yeah, the men and women of the military here, we want to, of course, thank them for their service, always standing at the ready, waiting to rush into dangerous situations to protect our freedoms. And there is one of our Canada's best in Chris Shapka, who is Colonel Chris Shapka, commander of 19 Wing Comox. There's a major base here in Esquimalt, CFB Esquimalt.
Second and 10 for Rourke. Dumps it off, stand back, finds some space. He's got another first down. His helmet comes off. He escaped and was thinking of the old helmetless touchdown scamper. That, of course, is blown down after picking up the first down.
Well, I want to say a quick special hello, too, because I was out there last night at CFB Esquimalt and got to meet Commander and Captain Navy Kevin Whiteside. So I want to say hi to him and thank you for his hospitality. And we'll have a whole bunch of the military from here in Victoria in the area here at this game.
Rourke got rid of that one quickly. It's back to Eberhardt. Stayed on his feet as he flipped over a defender. Now he's going to try to push ahead for a first down. They will mark him down about a yard short.
You know, we just keep seeing this incremental improvement from Nathan Rourke. Dropped in, had one practice before the Winnipeg game. Barely a practice with his starting group, and played in Winnipeg, completed just 8 passes in that loss. Big jump and improvement last week. against Ottawa in Ottawa. You see that timing is coming back.
Mackey pushing it ahead, and that'll be a first down for BC. Well, we all know what Nathan Rourke is capable of, and we know what he's already accomplished in this league.
Yeah, and you know, this game it's a little more special for Nathan Rourke, being the place that he was born and knowing so many people here in this area. But yeah, you take a look at the numbers. Canadian quarterback. Anytime you're in the same conversation with Russ Jackson, you're doing something.
I'm proud of that. He's got 143 yards already in this game at 243 in that meeting out in Ottawa. Rourke down the field, gets it away, and Hatcher comes back to it, bounces back up, it's not blown down. Now he's tackled on the far side.
All by himself basically over there in the numbers is Keon Hatcher, and he's just going to win the contested catch here. Runs a straight curl, comes all the way back, and he just out-muscles McKee to the football. That's a good break by Elijah McGee, and
he had a good line on that ball, didn't he?
He did. I thought he had the crack at it.
First catch of the game for Hatcher. Rourke has now hit 5 different receivers, including his running back. From the pocket again, down the field, right back into the hands of Hatcher. This time over the middle, and they're down inside the 30.
That's always the impressive throw to me. When you're on time and you run that dig route in the danger zone right in here, that to me is always the show to test that it's working, that the timing is there. Look at that window. It was tight to get it in there.
Rourke with his fullback Mackey standing into his left. Near side, Hollins has it. And that's his first catch of the ball game.
And an important one. Definitely an important one for Alexander Hollins. Gets some ball up. Real good production on first down. Was, you know, a 7-yard gain, 8-yard gain, but important just to get those touches and get that confidence back.
Stanback checks back into the game for Mackey. Rourke will slide up under center. Stanback waits in behind him. 2nd and 2 from the Ottawa 20. He'll give it to Stanback, pushing it ahead, and he's got another first down for the Lions, an offense that is just walking all over Ottawa thus far here this afternoon.
Ottawa starting to substitute defensive linemen. Cleon Lang getting a bit of a rest there as he comes off, because yeah, these long drives are going to tire out the Ottawa defense.
Well, Nathan Rourke is 12 for 15, 182 yards. Drew Brown's only attempted 3 passes in this football game. BC has just had the ball a ton. 1st and 10 from the 17 now. Rourke this time will give it to the fullback, and Mackey will push it ahead. Pretty decent pickup on first down, and it's 2nd and manageable in the red zone here for BC. 50% in the red zone coming into this game. 16 for 32.
This is where the last drive for the Lions stalled. Incompletion where pretty good coverage. In fact, I think Rourke threw it away the last time going the opposite direction.
They had to settle for a 12-yard field goal from Sean White. Hatcher in the slot to the right of Rourke. Looks to his left, throws to his left, has a completion down inside the 5 as he goes back to Catoy for the 3rd time in this ball game.
Yeah, he's locked in. He's locked in. I know there's Lions fans all over this province right now thinking, okay, this is the guy I remember. Again, defenders all around the intended target, and he just knifes it in there. Catoy had no choice but to catch that one.
Stanback stands in to the left of his quarterback. Rourke, corner for Hatcher. Can't get there, falls incomplete. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Straight fade route. McGee in coverage. And he's just going to run this fade, and the idea is throw it to the outside shoulder, so where only Hatcher can widen to get to it. That's why he's so close and inside, close to that hash mark. But McGee right there, stride for stride, in perfect position.
A second crack at it here for the Lions, looking to extend what is already a 10-0 lead. Rourke hit as he throws, still got a touchdown. He guns it into Hollins, and the Lions open up a 16-point lead in Victoria.
The second quarter, so I won't say it yet, but I'm really tempted to say Nathan Rourke is back. I mean, he takes a heck of a hit here as he delivers a strike for a touchdown. How about that reaction? Almost like, okay, I got to throw it. I know I can't block them all, so got to throw it before I get hit. And again, another big catch for Hollins on that slant route.
That was the linebacker, Frankie Griffin, who got into Rourke and hammered him as he threw it. Sean White, low snap, knocked through. 17-0 BC leads. Alexander Hollins' 5th touchdown of the season is the first one thrown by Rourke in his return to the Canadian Football League.
You know, you can play a zone defense against a blitz, but most of the time you're in man-to-man. And watch Justin McInnis win the Oscar here. He's not going to pick necessarily. He's going to make it look like he's trying to run a route and just get to the outside. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I got in your way. And inside on that inside route to Hollins. In a man-to-man where you know your blitz is coming, that rub play down on the goal line is money. Offenses call it rubs. Defenses call it picks. Picks is illegal.
Edmond takes it just inside the 15. Nice burst. Ran into trouble and taken down at the 30. How about a beautiful day? Not a cloud in the sky as we get a nice look at the harbor here in Victoria. Welcome back to Victoria. We had a communication error on the field, and the RedBlacks actually ran 2 offensive plays while we were in commercial. One was a deep shot down the field that fell incomplete.
Manny Rugamba made a play there.
And then the other one was over the middle, and that was incomplete as well. So you missed 2 incomplete passes by Drew Brown. Once again, we do apologize. Communication error with the officials down on the field. It's now 3rd and 10 for Ottawa.
Let's go and look. Yeah, we'll go show Ottawa fans what they missed, and they're going to go, okay. Not a whole lot, because, you know, Drew Brown did a nice job of keeping that play alive and sliding to the left side of the pocket, but there's the play by Rugamba, number 33, who's moved to the halfback spot with TJ Lee. Because Ottawa hasn't had the ball much, we haven't got to the starting lineups of the BC Lions, which is very different than it has been of late. TJ Lee is playing linebacker in this game, not halfback. They switched Rugamba and Lee, and Rugamba made that play on first down on the deep shot.
Both of those targets in the direction of Andre Miller, playing in his first game. Spent some time with the Giants and the Packers. They tried him at tight end a little bit in the National Football League, and you can see it brings some size to this Ottawa receiver group. 2 guys making their debuts, Eli Stove and Andre, I think they call him Dre Miller.
Yeah, but you got to know that Drew Brown is missing Jalen Ackland and Braylon Addison. Like, wow.
That's certainly not going to help. Brown.
You hear that Jalen Ackland, after a freak accident, looked bad at the time. Injury, was taken to hospital for examination. TJ Lee hit him in the game last week. It's a clean hit. Looks like he'll be okay. Here's a fake.
Here's a fake. Leone drops it off. They've got a first down and more. That's a Nice play by the punter.
It's like the Lions were trying to set up a return and they turned their back to the formation right off the snap, and that allows Ottawa to run this fake. This is film study. This is going back, looking at the video, seeing some tendencies that the Lions may be trying to set up blocks real early after the snap of the ball, turn their back to the line of scrimmage and open up an opportunity for a fake.
27 yards on the fake. Finally a spark for Ottawa. Now they'll get it to Armstead near side, and he steps out of bounds after a short gain of about 3 or 4 yards. Oh, what can that do for a team, Suits?
Oh, yeah, it's huge. You know, a team that's trying to get traction offensively, to get a new set of downs, get the special teams to contribute with a big play on the fake. Nice timing on the call, too, for Bob Dice. He knew it more than anybody that this offense needed a boost.
Manny Rugamba is down on the field after this play. Athletic therapist out too. Take a look at Rugamba coming off a 9-tackle game with an interception last week.
Yeah, I mentioned how Ryan Phillips, the defensive coordinator for the Lions, has been playing mad scientist over the last 4 or 5 weeks, partly due to injuries to Ben Hladek. More on that when we come back.
Rugamba, one of those guys you can certainly move all over this BC Lions defense. As they help him up, we'll step away. The familiar, the baby face, Steve Nash, champion, St. Mike's University School, right here in Victoria.
Had a pretty good shot back then, and two-time NBA MVP, Hall of Famer. From right here on the island.
Absolute phenomenal talent. And a pit bull on the court.
Vancouver Grizzlies would have somehow got Steve Nash, they'd still be here.
Down the field, Brown. That comes up short. He was looking for Rhymes. Green, among others, were there.
I mentioned that Ryan Phillips has been playing mad scientist a little bit over the last 4 weeks. Part of that due to injury. Ben Hladek's been hurt. TJ Lee just returned to the lineup, but he moved TJ Lee to linebacking core. Adrian Green goes back to safety. Patrice Rene was a safety to start. He moves back to sort of a backup role. And Manny Rugamba goes back to halfback. Now, Rugamba just got nicked, so they had to juggle again, but he's trying to find the right combination. Part of it is due to him just looking at different alignments, different sets, and trying to find the right combination.
53-yard attempt for Lewis Ward. That is up, and it is just enough. Puts it home. His season long was 54. He knocks that one in from 53. Let's stay on the hoops here in Victoria for a second. University of Victoria, for many of you in the area, you know exactly where we're going. 7 consecutive national championships for Ken Shields and the Victoria Vikes. It's a dynasty university sport.
Three or four NHLers from this area, Tyson Barrie being one of them.
Does it get old when you win 7 in a row? We want to get in.
Hey, winning never gets old. I guarantee you that. Winning never gets old.
Laid that one out there for Eberhardt, and they got to him a bit early.
Pass interference, Ottawa, number 29. Automatic first down.
I think they're going after McGee a little bit, but Eberhardt, he makes this play by his effort to go up and try to get it. There's the flea flicker, just that inside handoff to stand back, and then Rourke just launches it up over the top. There's the interference and the grab around the waist before the ball arrived on McGee, and that effort to go up and keep with it drew the penalty.
Stand back far side, pulling his way up for a first down. Eberhardt did a great job adjusting his body to even try to make a play on that last catch.
challenge from Bob Dice to take another look at that pass interference, although the chances of winning when a flag has been thrown is less than the chance when it hasn't in pass interference and a coach challenges it. I looked a couple of weeks ago. Coaches that are at about 50% are just below it in their challenges.
Ottawa desperately needs a stop here. They'll give it to Stanback. Right up the middle, and he's in. Touchdown, BC. Stanback, second rushing major of the season, and the Lions blow it open a little more.
The second level almost immediately. Mentioned Davion Taylor is in there for Javon Santos Knox. He sort of plays it from the middle linebacker spot, goes a little wide. Lane.
Sean White for a 21-point cushion. No mistake. And the BC Lions in full control here at Touchdown Pacific. Well, Stanback has just had an outstanding half of football here for the BC Lions. Let's take a look at his first half. It's not even over.
10 rushes, 3 catches, 13 touches offensively. There is no question. This is how it started. 1 for the BC Lions. That ended in a touchdown. 7-0 lead right out of the gate, but he's running the ball both through the middle and in part of the check down against the zone defenses for Nathan Rourke. But clearly Jordan Maximic has got 31 involved early and often here.
109 yards of total offense, 60 on the ground, and he leads the team through the air with 49 as well. You know, when your offense, your team's been started, not a bad idea. And you got a running back of his capabilities to just feed him.
Well,
you know?
and the Ottawa RedBlacks have one too in Rock Armstead.
That's true, yeah.
You know, and he's off to a slow start, although the entire offense he's only had 1 rush in this first half.
Again, on the return, spin move, flag out by the 40, and he's taken down just inside the 30. There's a look at Armstead.
200-yard games, first versus the Winnipeg Blue Bomber defense, and then last week against the BC Lions. They did a pretty good job against him. He had 15 touches in the backfield and only got to 52 yards in that one. But a dynamic back that can really help sort of slowly work their way back into this game, the RedBlacks. There is no 21-point play in football. So
can you imagine if there was?
It's only 1 touchdown at a time when you're trying to claw back in a game, and that starts with getting back to your offense.
Clipping. Ottawa number 32. After this is goal, first down Ottawa.
So Ottawa has 54 yards of offense in this game. Stanback, as we mentioned, is 109. So he's doubled up Ottawa just by himself. Leone actually leads Ottawa in passing right now. He's got 27 yards. Drew Brown's only got 25 after hanging almost 400 on the Lions just a week ago.
This first half, the BC Lions have had the ball for 19 minutes and 20 seconds this half. Their defense is fresh. I mentioned off the top that Matthew Betts might be trying to find his wind.
He'll be okay
in his first game. If he only has to play a couple of plays and a half, he'll be just fine.
Brown, a bobble.
There's Betts.
That was almost trouble. They were able to grab it and get back just beyond the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, he played the play there. He just anticipated the snap count. Now, they had a little problem with the execution of this play, Ottawa, but Matthew Betts shot the gap, and he was in the backfield. Watch number 90 right to the left of your screen. He's right in that backfield causing havoc and making the tackle. Watch him time it up, time it up, time it up, go.
Second and 10 from their own 5. this time over the middle has Rhymes. And he's got a first down for Ottawa, one that they desperately needed.
Yeah, the former BC Lion, you know he wants a bigger game in this one this evening than he had last week against his former teammate. Just one catch last week for Dominic Rhymes. Now they win, so he'll be fine with it, but we'll have to have a bigger impact if this Ottawa Red Black team is going to come back.
Ottawa, as we mentioned, have not lost since July 5th. Had the tie mixed in there with 5 wins. They've been absolutely rolling. Find themselves in unfamiliar territory here. Brown, good sidearm throw. And that'll be close to a first down on the second effort. First CFL catch for Eli Stove. And that'll take us to 3 minutes here in Victoria, where the fans are having a great time, and why wouldn't they be? They were going to enjoy it no matter what, but the BC Lions in full control, 24-3. Packed house here at Royal Athletic Park.
You know, I want to give a shout out to our incredible camera operators. We're looking around this makeshift stadium right now, and you should see where they are. Some incredible work done by our crew on this broadcast. Panel's coming up at halftime, by the way. Nathan Rourke, he's playing some pretty okay football. And word is that his 99-year-old great-grandmother is in the house, so maybe she's bringing good luck. We can't wait for halftime. We'll break it all down coming up.
Thank you. Am I the only one who looked like that tree was growing out of the roof of the grandstand here?
I agree with the crew and what they did. That's so true.
Brown dumps it off. Goes back to Stove, and Stove's got another first down and maybe some momentum here late in the second quarter for Ottawa. Stove's got a couple of catches on his CFL resume now.
Drew Brown has really no choice but to use the newcomers, try and get them involved. See the nuance, it's the angles and the timing that you wonder about.
Nice job after the catch there by Stove. Brown again just outside the 50, went right back to Stove again. So that's 3 catches for him on this drive. Maybe Brown has seen something in this BC defense.
And the BC Lions have Manny Rugamba back at halfback in that short side. In fact, both those Stove catches were right in front of Rugamba.
Injured Lion down on the field. Is that Marcus Moore?
I have a feeling with this heat, and it is wide open stadium. This is the first time in a long time the Lions have played a home game outside. Even when they open the roof, it's very different. They're in those black uniforms, and I won't be surprised at all to see a couple players get cramped, especially the big guys. Games like this, Dustin, those big guys, offensive and defensive line, they'll lose 15-20 pounds, and I know that sounds like it would be really cool to do. You and I would both probably want to do that. What's that program? We could use 15 or 20.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Overnight, preferably.
While you're sleeping. Yeah. Yeah.
No pun intended, but I don't have an appetite for the workout. But hey, people are going to donate food when Purelator Tackle Hunger comes calling and comes to your city. And that's exactly what was happening here today. Of course, just a wonderful program. Been going for 20 years now. Grey Cup in attendance as well. Well over, I believe, 22 million pounds of food over the last 2 decades. And a nice tie-in here with a special occasion as well in Victoria. Here's a few more dates. On Monday, they'll be in the Hammer. That game sold out. And then Sunday, October 19th, to wrap it up in Toronto. There it is, 22.5 million pounds of food donated in the last 21 years.
The ambassador, the late Chris Schultz, one of our former teammates, gone too soon, but took great pride in promoting that Purelator Tackle Hunger program. And wow, has it been a great success. Marcus Moore looked a little bit more than a cramp, but hopefully he'll be okay.
2nd and 4. for the RedBlacks. 4 options out to the left for Brown. Looks right over the middle. Has a man wide open. It's Rhymes. Little stiff arm. Won't work. Peters hangs on, takes him down. But a first down for Ottawa as they finally find some momentum on the offensive side of the ball.
Well, one of the superpowers for Drew Brown is to throw from different arm angles and to throw as he's fading away. And he had Rhymes. Rhymes was open on that crosser. Awful tough in man-to-man to cross the field like that. He had the edge there, and Brown found him.
Brown is 5 for 5 on this drive. 4 options, wide side right, 2 to the left. Goes over the middle quickly, and that is complete down inside the 40. First time today we've mentioned the name Justin Hardy, which is shocking after his 12-target game last time out.
And 11 catches. I mean, 12 targets, 11 catches, and career high in catches in one game. But yeah, first target here this evening.
Edmond will stand in to the right of Brown. Gets a second look at this BC Lions defense. Hardy in the slot to his right. He'll hand it off. Nowhere to go. That's read well. And stopped immediately in the hands of Edmond.
Drew Brown tried to sell that. He really did. He looked hard like he was going to throw a hit screen to the wide side of the field. Held that pose for a second and then went and handed it off underneath in an interior run. But the Lions weren't fooled. Watch him look to his left here. Drew Brown's going to look hard. Look there, and then he just gives it right back. That hard look was to try and freeze the defense. Think that it's going to go outside and then hand it underneath.
Lost a yard. Now they'll need 11. Brown steps up on the run to his right, looking down the field, drops it in, batted away. What a play by Gary Peters. Got there just in time as Rhymes thought that was dropping into him.
Well, Drew Brown, I think, had a choice. He could have run here, and I believe he would have got the first down. By the time he gets outside, when he escapes this way, he's got some room to go ahead and run. Thought he'd thread the needle to Rhymes, and Gary Peters gets knockdown number 9 on the season, and that's his 6th in 6 straight games. He gets 1 a game for sure.
You know you're good when. So 3rd and 11, 45-yard attempt for Ward. Hit from deeper earlier, and that one is up, and that one is through as well. It's nice to be here in Victoria. Let's send it down to Farhan Lalji with some story about a couple of local guys.
Yeah, a number of local ones, and so much focus on Nathan Rourke because he was born here, but he only lived here for a couple of years. That said, he still has family here, including his 99-year-old grandmother, Evelyn, who is here along with parents Robin and Larry. Now, his roommate on the road now, Kieran Poissant, the backup receiver, has spent the last 3 years with the West Shore Rebels in the BC Junior Football League, originally from Regina. So he certainly has a lot of friends. He actually lived with a homestay family about 2 blocks from here. And Dante Bull, who was the first overall pick in the draft a couple of years ago for Ottawa. He's on the bench right now. He's not in uniform today, but he played his entire high school football career here. He grew up here. In fact, his first ever football game as a 5-year-old was played right on this field. And one more, official Murray Clark. He's the side judge on the BC side wearing number 22, a 20-plus year official. First time he's on at home for a game. He didn't have to travel.
That's nice. The home cooking for the game. Rourke. Nice little scramble here, and Ottawa has given BC a ton of time here. 65 seconds with the ball in midfield.
Yeah, he shakes a tackle here. It should have been a sack right there, but he gets out and gets the edge. Kieran Poissant, he's an interesting story. Was originally from Regina and played with the West Shore Rebels, as Farhan just mentioned, and boy, was he a stud there. I mean, over 2,300 yards receiving, junior football team, 25 touchdowns.
Rourke got that ball out quickly. He's got a first down as he gets it to McInnes. Rourke now over 200 yards here in the first half.
Kieran from Regina, so grew up here in Victoria, played his junior football. Here's a little high school and junior football with the West Shore Rebels, who played in the Junior Canadian Championship, National Championship, against the Saskatoon Hilltops. And now the Saskatoon Hilltops are like, they're the top of the hill. I mean,
Have been for a while.
Yeah, 10 of 13. Look at this.
Down the field, has a man. Touchdown, Eberhardt. Rourke strikes again. Eberhardt's first of the season. And BC's hung 30 on the RedBlacks in the first half.
Wow. Wow. Okay, I'm saying it now. Nathan Rourke is back.
You think so?
He took off and ran in this drive. Got a first down with his legs. Couple of tight throws in this one on a wheel route to Eberhardt, who he's found early and often in this first half, who's open right down the rail, right down the sideline. Touchdown for Eberhardt, his first receiving touchdown in the CFL.
Extra point is good. And it's a BC blowout so far, 31-6. Rourke, 246 yards on 80% passing for 2 touchdowns. And Glenn, I think the nation watching might agree with you. He looks like his old self so far here today.
Well, he's hitting it right, guys. He's throwing on time, and the accuracy is there. Eberhardt's lined up as a wideout. See, he runs that out, and that's called a wheel. You basically just run it out and then slowly turn up the wheel, and you're trying to fool the defender into thinking that you're just on that out route. And the processing speed, the accuracy, and get it outside of that sideline untouched into the end zone for his first TD.
So Ottawa puts up a field goal, and then the Lions go 3 plays, 70 yards, 34 seconds, touchdown. Absolute backbreaker.
Aiden Eberhardt keeps that football for the trophy case.
Planning that dance for a while, probably, hasn't he? Had a phenomenal season so far, really has. It's kind of that third piece behind Hollins and McInnes. Finally found the end zone. Edmond on the return, has some room, gets a block, trying to kick it to the outside, stays on his feet, finally tripped up at the 30. There's a flag way back at the other 30-yard line, as we know what he's capable of every single time he touches that ball.
Well, this may come all the way back.
Looks like it is.
During their turn, holding, Ottawa number 45. First down, Ottawa.
Anthony Goslin.
So what does Ottawa have to do to climb back in this game? Well, first of all, 1 series at a time. Second of all, how about a little more Rock Armstead? For sure. Stick with your offensive game plan. Way too early to abandon it. And Justin Hardy.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, you're the Ottawa RedBlacks offense. You're in there making sure he's the primary at halftime and looking at those plays, those pages in the playbook.
Just 1 target for Hardy so far. Back to Stove on the near side. And he'll protect that ball and take it out. About a yard shy of another first down. That's his team leading 4th catch of the ball game here in his RedBlacks debut.
Played on the big stage in Auburn, and certainly not.
I think when he left, he was 5th all time.
Well,
he
understands the bright lights, right?
Brown going through the motions here, near side, finds Hardy, and he did catch it, stepped out of bounds right after, but that will be a catch. Hardy saying I was up a couple more yards.
He's fighting hard. This is right in front of our location, which is really close to the field, unlike most stadiums in CFL. Well, all stadiums in CFL, we're closer than any of those, but Manny Rugamba came back. That's what Hardy brings. I mean, that was he fought hard back to that football. Over 100 yards last week against this Lions secondary.
4 100-yard games on the year for Hardy. Brown under pressure. Can he get away? No. Lions defense will get there. Varga finishes it.
Like initially he had time to get it out of there. The coverage gets the assist here. Cut block, and Then he has to duck the first one.
Hand it off. Brock Armstead pushing ahead. That's just his third carry of the ball game.
See Nathan Rourke's reaction to that sack behind the line of scrimmage. You think he's pumped up for this game in Victoria? Yes, just a couple years living here and then went out east, but tons of family here, including Grandma. Boy, he has lit it up in this first half. Looks like the timing is back. You know, he's always been athletic and able to run and make plays with his legs. He did a little of that in the first half, but you know, what's most impressive is that timing. The timing to receivers, the accuracy on the throws, processing speed, in and out of his hands. Receivers are making plays, including Alexander Hollins.
16 of 20, 246 yards, and 2 touchdowns in just the first half for Rourke, who's looking for his first win since returning to BC, and right now he's with Farhan Maldi.
Nathan, 16 of 20, almost 250 yards and a couple of touchdowns.
We're up 31-6. That's all I really care about. Thanks, Farhan. Appreciate it.
Kate, well, you didn't have a lot to say. It's all about the W at this point.
Well done, Farhan. And I'll tell you this, Nathan doesn't want to talk about Nathan, so the good news is we want to talk about Nathan. His Lions up huge. And back inside Royal Athletic Park, and we had to take a minute there because Nathan Rourke just really caught us off guard. You would assume when you had a performance like that you wanted to speak about yourself, but you know what, the humility of the young kid. This is where he was born. He did grow up in Ontario, but my goodness, it's a coming out party for this season. We've seen him do this before. Davis Sanchez, Matt Dunnigan, Milt Stiegel, and as I mentioned, the Lions up absolutely huge, up by 25 at this point. But Milt, it's not just the statistics for Nathan Rourke. I mean, we're seeing a different side of emotion now in his third start.
Yes, his numbers are excellent, and we'll talk about those, but I'm more impressed with what we've seen out of Nathan Rourke and his emotions. We haven't seen that, and let's be honest, sometimes emotions can be fabricated, they can be planned out. I mean, sometimes I've fabricated them. When I knew the camera was on me, I knew people was watching, but what we've seen out of Nathan Rourke, this is authentic. This is a guy who's been under pressure, who's playing in the place where he was birthed, who people expected a lot of him, and he hadn't delivered, and now he's delivering, and he's showing that emotion. And you can see the rest of the team feeding off that emotion. You can see the defense playing better. You can see the coaches getting excited. Everyone for these BC Lions are playing better, are coaching better because what Nathan Rourke has done in this first half.
Yeah, it's fun to watch too, Milt. And in the CFL, typically starts with your quarterback. And this football team struggled over the last 5 weeks, hence their 0-5 slide. And Nathan Rourke seems to be on point. I love it. I told him before the ball game, the only thing I said to him was have fun. Just go have fun. It looks like he's having fun out there. Another guy who's having fun because Nathan's spreading it out over the yard is William Stanback. He's got 49 in the air receiving the rock, and he's got another 60 on the ground. So everybody is spreading it, and William Stanback is loving the holes up front because it is working, and all cylinders are oiled up beautifully here in Victoria, and William Stanback is making the RedBlacks defense, who held him in check pretty much last week to some degree, really pay for it, right? And payback is a lot of fun in your own backyard like this.
I want to ask, what do we think of that by Nathan right there?
I love it. Yeah. He's all business.
What do you think of his
business? No, that's pure. Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
I don't mind that at all.
So, look, just to add on to what Milt was talking about, look, Nathan Rourke is... Everyone handles pressure differently. That shows me, and how he's been in the first half, his emotion. That shows me that the pressure, he's definitely feeling the pressure of this, and he showed up in a good way. This was the key to the game right here, the first half. Was that fake punt? I thought a great job by Bob Dice. Great timing to run the down 17-0. That could have been a key part of the game and swing this game around, but BC defense held him to 3 there, and then right after that, boom, the flea flicker with the pass interference. The next play, William Stanback scores. So instead of being, you could make it 17-10, we are 17-7 with a 10-point game. All of a sudden now they're up, up 3 scores. But yeah, what I want to add with Nathan, him right there, that showed me and him. He's feeling this pressure, all the conversation. He's feeling it, but he's come out. He's come out poised and played great football, and then really emotional. What's so funny, Matty?
No, I'm agree with you. Hey, it's just amazing. It's like, whatever, Farhan. I'm going
to the locker room.
You know, Farhan is crying right now, too. So.
No, he's fine. I can see him. He's absolutely fine. Great first half by the Lions. And you know what? Hopefully Labor Day continues to deliver, because we got sold out stadiums in Regina and in Hamilton. Labor Day weekend continues in the CFL, or as we like to call it, Christmas. Blue Bombers taking on the Rough Riders tomorrow beginning 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific, and then a doubleheader on Monday, Argonauts, Tiger Cats, and it all wraps up with the Elks taking on the Stampeders. Let's look at that Blue Bombers Rough Riders game for just a moment, and this is massive, knowing that the West is absolutely chaos at this point. Milt, these two games are huge.
Humongous, and there's nothing like that Labor Day Classic in Regina. I was fortunate enough to play in it my entire career, and it's special, but it's not an easy atmosphere to win in as a Winnipeg Blue Bomber, regardless of how well you're playing. You have to realize that if you go in there and you allow that crowd to get into the game, they'll feel like there's 50 men on the field that you're going against. So the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have to come out early and don't allow that crowd to get in, because we know these Rough Riders are hungry. We know they need a victory, and it's not an easy place to win.
Yeah, no matter whether it's Toronto at Hamilton or whether it's Edmonton at Calgary, Montreal's kicking it right now at 10-1, watching this stuff going like, yeah, y'all beat the snot out of each other. You know, we're just relaxing here, getting ready for the second half, and pretty good position to be in. But at the end of the day, I'm looking forward to watching Edmonton go down to Calgary, a couple of teams that haven't played very well this season, trying to find their form in the second half. I know that's going to be a war.
Yeah, that's Sask. That's Sask. It's a real styles make fights, guys, right? The defense of Winnipeg plays top down. JY, he makes you throw the ball in front of him, then they break and tackle. And Trevor is excellent at getting the ball out. Since he's been back, the most efficient quarterback elite since he's been back. So that's going to be a great match.
Hold on, Chad, did you ever play any Labor Day Classics?
Yeah, Calgary, Edmonton, yes.
Oh, you were hurt, though. You didn't play any games, did you? That's why I asked, did you ever play?
It's 31-6. I ain't got nothing else to say.
By the way, I do. I heard Farhan Lalji is still searching for Nathan Rourke. Lions up big.
Put up your dukes, Nathan.
He embarrassed him in front of his son.
Well, beautiful day in Victoria unless you play for the RedBlacks. 31-6, the BC Lions leading, dominating the time of possession, dominating the first downs. Bob Dice has got to be looking for an answer, and he's standing by with Farhan Lalji.
Coach, let's start with what's happening defensively. Nathan Rourke's been on quite a roll. Just what do you have to do to make him uncomfortable?
Well, you know, we got to make sure that we finish. You know, there's a couple times we had him back in the pocket and allowed him to escape, and he was able to make big plays. You know, one of the things we talked about at halftime, making sure everything we do, whether it be defensively or offensively, we got to finish.
Yeah, offensively you started slow, got some yards later. Now that you're behind, do you change the game plan a bit here?
Well, I don't know that we change the game plan. We want to come out here and be physical and compete in the second half. You know the CFL Farhan, 25 points is not a lot. We come back, play physical. We got the ball here. We started off strong, and we'll finish the second half strong.
Thanks for this, Coach.
Thank you.
Positive attitude from head coach Bob Dice. He's right. 25 points in the Canadian Football League with a half to play. Lots of time here.
Well, absolutely, and you think of 3 out of their 7 wins this year were walk-off field goals, and 6 of their 7 were in the final 3 minutes. So they're used to the close games, and they've been excellent in the close games. What they haven't had to deal with is a deficit like this. So this is a little bit of new territory for the RedBlacks this season. And yeah, I agree with Coach Dice. You don't way too early to abandon any sort of offensive or defensive game plan. Just finish plays, try and stay on the field offensively. Brock Armstead, Justin Hardy. I'm sure those 2 names came up.
BC's 5-2 when they lead at the half. Ottawa 2-2 when trailing at halftime. Right back to Stove, who had 4 catches and 41 yards in his first half of CFL action.
Meanwhile, it seems that the addition of Matthew Betts, although it's been a quiet first half statistically, the BC defense probably got a boost when he returned and walked in the locker room, and they're playing better than they have over the last few games.
We need God.
Brown over the middle, laying out for it, but no. Evans in defense there, able to break it up.
Deontay Evans was in a trail position on that crossing route that comes right over the middle. That's the one that Drew Brown has been so good at this year. He gave Miller a chance to come up with this. He led him out front, threw it nice and low and away, but what a play by Deontay Evans, just laying out to get his left hand on the ball.
Leone skies this one. Williams has to wait. Comes down and he is wrapped up immediately down the field there by Onyeka.
Now this is a fun trip for all the fans. Certainly a fun trip for our crew and all the crews. More fun for some of our crew members than others. But for Nathan Rourke, it's straight business. And we saw that in the halftime interview. That was a few words. This is not enough. He has come ready to play with his briefcase, and this is a business trip for Rourke, and that's the way it looked in the first half for him.
246, a couple of touchdowns for Rourke, 80% through the air. Fakes the handoff to Stanback. Now dumps it off to him, and they'll set up a screen, but he slips, and he's taken down actually for a loss just inside the 30.
Trying to take a look at who made that tackle, because there was only one Red Black with a chance to do it.
There's a couple of big boys out there in front of Stanback too. Might have had something cooking.
I think it was him, Frankie Griffin. A die came down, but I'll tell you what, that they had to play there. That was going to be a big play.
2nd and 12 would be huge for the RedBlacks defense to actually get off the field here. They're going to bring a little bit of pressure. Rourke over the middle, intercepted right at the 45. That's got to help him as it'll be brought back, staying on the feet near side, all the way down by Webb, and finally he's forced out of bounds. Damon Webb, his first interception of the season, is a huge one for Ottawa. Steps in front of Hatcher and takes it away. Thought about taking it back.
Barrett Miles drew this one up to confuse Nathan Rourke. That's Pickett coming off the edge. It's linebacker, and that would probably trigger Rourke to think blitz. It wasn't a blitz. It was only really a 4 with Transit coming in as a 5th rusher. So 5-on-5, not a blitz. And that's where Damon Webb was sitting back waiting for that throw over the middle.
And instantly, Ottawa in the best field position they've had the entire game. 1st and 10 from the BC 14. Brown, he's going to look right to the end zone immediately. He's got it. Touchdown Rhymes. The former BC Lion strikes at Touchdown Pacific.
Nice protection up front for Drew Brown. It's called sudden change. When you get that turnover from your defense, turn it into a touchdown quickly and grab early momentum. You're going to come back from a big deficit at half. That's a great start for the Ottawa RedBlacks and get Dominic Rhymes the football in the end zone. But great protection up front for Drew Brown. He had a nice throwing lane and layered deep routes down the field.
They are going to go for 2, which would make it a 17-point game. 2 touchdowns and a field goal as opposed to the 18. Brown gets it away quickly. That's incomplete. Hardy was looking for a flag. He's working there against Varga and Rugamba.
Dino Boyd's going to push his man wide on the protection, and that touchdown throw from Drew Brown. Just a real nice blocking up front. Dino Boyd getting here, and he's going to drive his man wide. Watch the interior of the O-line. They're going to step up. He's got his great pass row. There goes a wide one. That you can't get to Brown. Look at him step up. He's got lots of room and a throwing lane, and here's the route. It's a deeper route and then a layer to Rhymes underneath, and when you get those two layers, the safety has to take the deepest of the deepest. Rhymes ends up being the underneath guy, and the deep one is here, pulling the safety high first so he can't come underneath to Rhymes. Nice play call, better execution.
First touchdown of the season for Rhymes, who came into the game with almost 500 yards. He's past that now. Well, that's his first touchdown of the year. Can Ottawa build on that? Williams stakes it at the 25, immediately back to the 35, and he is absolutely crushed just outside the 35.
You see what it happens? You see what happens? They come out at a half with a big deficit. Defense gets a turnover. That jacks the offense up. They go and put it in the end zone a couple plays later. And then the special team said, hey, we want to have some fun too. They go down and play physical on a kickoff cover team.
Silas Stewart with that finishing blow. 1st and 10 for the Lions. Leading by 19. They'll start this one on their own 36. Right back to Stanback with a big first half, and they won't mind that start. He gets more than half of what they need on first down.
You know, as big as William Stanback is, and he's, 235, he can make himself skinny in the hole at times. Ottawa RedBlack down.
One of the bigger backs in the league. Stanback in that first half had 109 yards of offense. Has just one 100-yard rushing game so far this year. He's on pace for that. Had 60. This one just went for 7, so he's working his way towards another one. Mike Wakefield is down on the field to look at him. He had a sack last week against these same BC Lions. Will return to Victoria. Scotty Scheffler is in full control at 26 under. That would be a fitting finish to just an absolutely remarkable season for Scotty Scheffler. Stand back again, pushes ahead, first down up to the 50. Back-to-back running plays.
Give you a great view of just how quick his feet are. William Stanback got, the hole was plugged up, and he just shuffled those feet right at the point of attack, a little bit deeper behind Nathan Rourke on this handoff. That gave him a little more time, but you see those quick feet to bounce around that first pile and pick up those extra yards.
Fresh set of downs from their own 50. Rourke hits that one away and falls at the feet of Alexander Hollins.
Rourke turned around talking to himself there. He knew that was on him. Well, I'm sure tell Hollins as much in the huddle, although you don't get much time in the CFL in the huddles.
So keep her moving.
Get in and out. Yeah.
Probably good for a receiver when they mess up.
Absolutely.
Get back to the huddle. Say, hey, don't worry about it. We got to go again right away. No time to rant at them. 2nd and 10. Rourke backpedaling in the pocket. Hit as he throws. That ball pops out. Rourke, though, recovers. Looked like Rourke got back on it. Aiden John had a great look at it, but it sort of popped away from him.
was Davian Taylor coming around the edge. Right there, he gets home first. He's the guy who knocks it out. And Rourke recovers it so he can get his punt team out there.
That huge recovery by Rourke. John hangs on to that. Ottawa in business again. Instead, Flintoff, I believe, for the first time today. Bounces. And out of bounds. Just inside the 20. Great first half for Rourke. A bit of a rough ride so far as Ottawa tries to claw their way back into this football game. First touchdown of the season for Dominic Rhymes comes against his former club. For more, let's send it down to Farhan Lalji.
Yeah, absolutely. When you knew Rhymes was playing BC, there was going to be some motivation there, just like there was last week. But he's got a bit of a budding rivalry going with Gary Peters, who was his teammate for 3 years. And these two guys used to battle in practice on a regular basis. Ryan Phillips, BC's defensive coordinator, said he's never seen two guys battle like that in practice, two alpha dogs. It began in 2019 when they faced each other. And on a pass intercepted for Rhymes, Peters intercepted it. Then later on, Rhymes scored a touchdown in front of Peters and had something to say. Now, in last week's game, Rhymes wasn't playing into the boundary where Peters lines up, so they didn't go head-to-head much. They have tonight. Peters has the one knockdown, and on that last touchdown that Rhymes scored, Peters wasn't in coverage. It was in zone coverage, so he wound up catching it in front of some safeties. But you can bet these two are going to have a few more moments before this one is over.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Yeah, best on best, really. You take a look at the numbers over the last couple of years for both those players. Very impressive and quite the battle.
Brown gets it away. I'm not sure anybody knew where that one was. He was looking for Rhymes. Safety Adrian Green kind of turned around and sort of hit him in the right hand.
Yeah, and I mentioned it last week a little bit, but this is the would have moment. So these two guys practice, as Farhan said. Look at Gary Peters, when he lowest completion percentage allowed over the last 2 seasons. That's all-star material. Of course, he has been that for the Lions, but you know the would have, because you can't hit each other in practice. So when you're playing against each other and competing, you're going, see, I would have hit you there and knocked the ball out. He said, no, I would have scored on you there, but the coach blew the whistle in practice.
Brown gets this one away. That's too high for Hardy. And it falls incomplete. And Ottawa will have to kick it away one more time.
That's Ryder Varga in coverage there, and that's in space covering the best receiver the Ottawa RedBlacks have in the league, and one of the best receivers in the league, in Justin Hardy. And when you take a look at covering in space, getting inside position, basically what's called a cover two man with two guys over the top, you get a linebacker to trail, he's in good position to make the play.
Great field position awaits as Williams takes this just inside his own 50. Trying to find some space, never really came. What a shot taken by our tallest cameraman. 31-12 BC leads. And look at this facility. Really couldn't have gone any better. Perfect weather, packed house. Stand back, this time stuffed.
You know, they really did, and maybe it's a great moment because Kate mentioned it going in at the half that, you know, our crew did such a good job of putting together the booth and the camera positions, and guys are strapped in on top of the roof and trying to get these a great drone shot up above and give you that all 24 look. And yeah, and look at the field and how well it's been prepared. I mean, this field is immaculate. So Amar Doman did his part. The fans paid for the tickets and sold this thing out in, I think, about an hour and a half. And they went on sale.
They wanted it. Rourke trying to take off, and he does. Tripped up just inside the 45 by Griffin. Couple yards shy.
Often a sort of a bubble part of the field where a coach might consider going for it.
Roll Sean Way out here.
They'll check with the kicker. How do you feel about this distance? Really no wind here, and if there's any little breeze, it's behind Sean White.
His season long is 52. This one will be from 51 with Flintoff to hold for him just inside the right hash. Hold is down, that is up, and it is wide right. Dedmon will take it out, and he's got a little bit of room on the far side of the field after this missed field goal. Still going, and now he's going to get to midfield. One man to beat, and he's finally tripped up. Oh, he had something cooking. Sean White, a rare miss. BC Lions on top, 31-12 in Victoria.
Devontae Dedmon weighs in at about what? I don't know, $190 maybe, 200 possibly, 5'9". Suk Chung is going to make this tackle. I've said many times throughout the season that a missed field goal is tough on the field goal team because they have some linemen to block so that the kick can be successful. And look who makes the tackle. Suk Chung, right hand, trips Dedmon, or he's still running.
That was a house call if he doesn't get his hand on him. But look at his field position for Ottawa. Brown gets it out into the hands of Hardy. A little spin move to get it down inside the 40. Give him about 3 yards.
Saw that Suk Chung got down after that tackle, and he was a little winded having to cover a missed field goal, which is so rare for the BC Lions this season. The streak for Sean White ended last week when he got one blocked by Javon Santos-Knox, but that was his first just straight miss, and he had this cover team, and Suk Chung's there getting some 0-2.
Second and 7 for Brown. Pressure coming, he's in trouble, and he's taken down. Welcome back, Matthew Betts.
Just so quick, great hands. He's got so many tools in his toolbox. Watch Matthew Betts get after it here. Again, 18 sacks to lead the CFL last year. Just outstanding defensive player in the season, and won that award, as a matter of fact, and gets his first in his first game back in a Lions jersey.
Ottawa can't do anything with the great return from Dedmon. Leone gets it away. Williams will take it, and he's a high-speed collision right at the 20 on the return. A little slow to get up. Looks like he'll be all right.
Let's go back and see Matthew Betts first.
Right here.
Of the 24 campaign, as he gets that jersey back on, going around the corner, up there at the top of your screen against Dino Boyd, and just a great hand. See how he takes the hands of Boyd and gets him, just swipes them away from him so that Boyd can't get inside, and the shoulder pads inside on the chest. And once Betts has that leverage on the outside, he's gone. Great quickness, tremendous hands.
Rourke will move Hatcher and Rhymes. Kinnis rather to the left now, down the field. Hatcher's wide open, and they'll find him in midfield, trying to spin move. Anders will hang on and take him down on the far side of the field.
Hatcher's all by himself out here, and he had to find the ball. That might be a low sun coming, but this is the corner route for Hatcher. He's got a good run and that waggle towards the line of scrimmage, and there you can see he just turns the defender inside out. I think that was Dandridge on the corner.
40 yards to Hatcher. Ottawa 50's where they work. Stand back will take it. Cuts it around the edge down to the 45.
Darius Pickett's got to be careful. There's a handoff inside, and Nathan Rourke's talking to the official about this one because Pickett comes off again on that same play. Remember when the interception by Webb? Same play, and he gives Rourke a little shot.
Rourke looking for that call. Did not come. 2nd and 5. Gets it away quickly again for Hollins. And he could not haul it in. That'll bring up 3rd down.
A little closer field goal attempt here for Sean White.
I think they're going to punt this one.
I was going to say, did White go back? Because this is a 45. This would be, well, it's about the same.
About the same.
It's about the same. Yeah. So that's,
and that miss,
that makes sense.
Kind of just got to the end zone. Carl Meyer out here to handle the punting duties. For midfield, he hangs it up there end over end. Edmund takes it. And literally nowhere to go. That tackle made almost immediately. Well, there's a good look at the current setup here at Royal Athletic Park. What are those lines for? Great Canadian Beer Fest.
Remember when I said some of our crew had more fun than others? I'm just saying.
Long-time home to the Great Canadian Beer Fest. Nothing like drinking beer out of tiny little glasses. But it works well at Ball Stadium. And on top of that, you can see the baseball outline down by that BC Lions logo. They'll toss it out. Dedmont trying to get something going here. It's tackled shy of the 25.
Not surprised to see Dedmon get a couple offensive plays. He's actually getting up a little sore. It looks like it's his left hand, but you know, with Braylon Addison out of the lineup, Addison is one of those fly sweep guys.
Move him around.
Yeah, and they bring him around on basically that handoff on the fly sweep 17 times coming into this game. He's of course out of the lineup tonight, so the question was who's going to get those snaps. It's a big part of their offense.
Need 2 more yards here. Handoff. Second effort. Will it be enough? Whistles still being blown. Looks like it'll be a yard shy.
Matthew Betts was part of that play as well defensively. Let's see.
Come out to kick it away on the 3rd and 1 with time ticking down in the 3rd quarter. A touchdown Pacific.
Timeout BC.
Having a personnel issue. Coach Benavides over there in special teams trying to make sure he has the right guys on the field, and
he might have had too many.
Had to burn a timeout to get the right amount of players.
Oh, and now,
because of the timeout, Bob Dice got more time to think about it. And
brings the offense back out onto the field.
When you look at the scoreboard, risky at this end of the field, but when you look at the scoreboard, you can see the justification there.
They just need a yard. Trying to push ahead. And now they'll find out where he is in that pile.
They're saying first down.
Just had to get to the 25, and it looks like mission accomplished.
The penalty for something well after the fact.
That was a really late flag, wasn't it?
Interesting, though, with the Lions with a bit of a personnel issue. Gave Bob Dice a chance to think about that and said,
you know what? First down on the play. After the play, 2 misconduct fouls against 64 Ottawa, 79 BC.
It's not so much what you did, but what you said, I'm sure, down there. But be offsetting.
Dino Boyd and Giuliano Filinico.
Maybe a couple. I'll check.
Ottawa needs to take advantage of every opportunity they have. Only needed a yard there. They got it. See if they can build off this. Quiet day for Hardy. Just 3 catches, 24 yards. After having 114 on 11 catches against the Lions last week. Brown in trouble right away. And that pressure forces the issue to Hema right in his face. Couldn't get that one to Rock Armstead.
Sione Tehama leads the team in sacks with 5 coming in. A lot of them have been in the last 4 or 5 games where he's really started to put some numbers on the board. Down at the bottom of your screen, he's going to go inside pass rush lane on Dino Boyd and get there to affect the throw and the accuracy, and Brown can't get it done. Pressure coming from TJ Lee.
Brown watching. Pressure does come from his right side, goes over the middle, and will go up and get it. The 40, it's Stove again as he climbs the ladder and hauls it in.
Yeah, real good catch, but TJ Lee gave away the blitz. He showed on the fake snap count from Drew Brown that he was coming, and then when they actually snapped the ball, he was delayed in getting any pressure on Drew Brown, and that allowed him to have the time to throw it over the middle.
Final play of the quarter, they'll hand it off to Armstead, and he picks his way up to about the Ottawa 45, and the RedBlacks will have to crank it up a notch if they're going to get back in this ball game. The BC Lions are looking to snap a 5-game slide, and they have a comfortable lead with the 4th quarter just around the corner here in Victoria. Well, a look at the beautiful harbor here in Victoria, and whenever you think about the harbor, you think about the Empress Hotel, and when you think about the Empress, you think about high tea.
And we have our traditional Empress blend.
I would love a couple of blue suede shoes, please.
That'll match your outfit.
Is it a way how you use this? Ottawa, 1 point, because we're inquisitive. You should know how to. You want to know another point that we're about to get? Is you serve somebody else first. Boom.
Well, Suits, you want to serve me some tea after the game?
Yeah, football players can have tea as well. That's okay. Yeah, there's a lot of heritage buildings in this city, of course, and the Empress, I think, was built back in 1908. Parliament buildings are here. This is the capital of British Columbia, and the city was named after Queen Victoria, one of the oldest cities in the Pacific Northwest.
Flag as Drew Brown delivers this up to midfield. The officials will sort this out.
Well, Bob Dice was right about one thing. His team in this second half is at a different compete level. Still having issues getting traction offensively.
This penalty is against Ottawa, which will negate what would have been first down.
Tripping, Ottawa 61. It's a 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
I'm not sure he tripped him. It looked like he may have lost his footing, and then, well, maybe they called it with the right hand.
That's a tough one when you sort of slip on the play and then also take the penalty.
Like he tried to trip him, but didn't get the foot on him.
So a 2nd and 15 for Brown. Just the 3-man pressure almost gets through. Far side, what a throw. And the catch is made. There's another flag back by the quarterback as he finds Mardner
Gardner with a breakout game last week versus the BC Lions. His first 2 touchdowns.
Holding, Ottawa 52. 10-yard penalty to beat second down.
Zach Bellios on a right tackle gets the holding call. See his one-on-one. Matthew Betts on an inside move. Again with those great hands. Watch him get up the field, get his hands on the outside so he can get leverage, and there's the holding. Pulled his shoulder pads down towards the ground, and that's a holding call. Betts gave him the Michael Jordan, didn't he? Just kind of put his hands up.
109 penalties. Or 109 penalty yards, I should say, for Ottawa. The shrug. The shrug.
Yep.
Brown this time moves it quickly. Shy of the 40. Got it to Miller. That won't be enough. That was 2 passes that would have gone for first downs that come back against Brown because of penalties on his offensive line.
You know, I will say, though, that Ottawa has made a few plays that could have and maybe should have kickstart this team in the process of making the big comeback, because, you know, they had a couple of big returns. They had to pick on defense that turned into a quick touchdown. Start this second half. They've had their moments, but the Lions making enough plays. Not let them do it.
Nice kick by Leone. Williams
got something.
Has a little bit of space, and here he goes. Terry Williams down the field to midfield. Now the 40. The race is on. Will they catch him? And yes, they do. Great hustle to track him down. Marco Dubois had him in his sights. Williams looking for that elusive return touchdown. Look at this, though. The big man tracks him down. Nice.
Well, let's show this foot race one more time. Laval's Marco Dubois goes after it. He catches Terry Williams from behind. There he is here. Now watch how Williams is going to get him. He breaks through the hole in his block. Williams is coming up the field. Here he goes. Now stop it there. Look at the distance he has. That's about a 5-yard lead, and he just closes on him in 20 yards.
The longer stride pays off there. Rourke dancing around the pocket, looking to the end zone. No! Just a little too far for Cotoy.
Give you one more look at Dubois with a great hustle. I mean, you know, whether they come back and make this a game or not, this is one that when the entire team is sitting in on special teams film, they'll say, if we give that kind of effort every single play all the time, we're going to win a lot of football games. That is great hustle. Dubois is 6'4", 235. And he caught Terry Williams, made up 6 yards. Love it.
What an effort. Here's Rourke. In trouble, gobbled up and eventually taken down. And a flag at the end of that play. It looked like Rourke had sort of got away from it, and then he was upended. So we'll get another look at this.
I'm wondering about the low hit, though. Why did Rourke go down? Was it a trip or was it a foot? Did he do that on his own? Go ahead and run it, guys. We see
tripping. Ottawa number 94. It's 10-yard penalty.
Yeah, that was the question. Why does Nathan Rourke go down here? Because he breaks that tackle and then he trips. And you know, I'm not sure that Malton meant to do that. I think he was just trying to get his balance and get up, but he did trip him with his leg as he tried to escape.
Just takes the ball down inside the 15. Nice has that challenge flag, but looks like he's going to hang on to it.
His spotter said, don't do it. Not going to win it.
Rourke 2 touchdowns already in this game. Turns and hands it off to Stanback. He's got one as well.
His first two.
To the 10.
His first 2 in 3 games too for Nathan Rourke, and that's you get that one behind you as quickly as possible. again, big improvements from game 1 to game 2, more practice time. Talking to some of the coaches before the game on this field and for the Lions, and they were telling me that their practice before they took the ferry out to Victoria was maybe the best practice of the year for their team.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's showing.
Rourke quickly to his left, staying on his feet and into the end zone. It's McInnes. Third passing touchdown of the game for Rourke.
McInnes sometimes, he looks like sometimes a tall Gumby. He just kind of absorbs hits, and the legs and the arms kind of fly everywhere and stays on his feet. Adding to the total, he's over 1,000 yards on the season now. First guy to get there. There's a few of them closing in, but Justin McInnes tops that list.
7th of the season for McInnes. Building off a strong first quarter performance last week.
How are you, Terry? You got to start it, Terry.
Sean White for one more. And the lead is 26 for Rourke and the Lions. McInnes works his way into the end zone. The fans here in Victoria loving it. Ravens versus Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Well, we are the Football Network.
We got you covered.
Yeah.
So a penalty misconduct, I believe on Kent Perkins, has backed up the kickoff. Flintoff hammers it away. Back on the returns now, Dandridge. He's got some room on the far side, but there's a flag at the 40 as he's tripped up at the 50. Now CFL on CTV, starting with the Banjo Bowl on September 7th. That should be a good one, and then you'll get it every single Saturday the rest of the way, including the Eastern semifinal, Eastern final, and the Grey Cup. That's great to see for the league, I think.
Oh, no question. This game there, that's going to be a good one too. That probably has playoff positioning implications. A lot of those games down the stretch are going to be important, especially the division playing against each other. How about this West all crammed together?
Well, I was going to say that Edmonton-Calgary game is on there on October 12th to be a big one as well, depending what happens with Labor Day and the rematch between those two teams. Ottawa has been on a heck of a run here, but appears to be coming to a close today against the BC Lions. There's TJ Lee's been moved around the defense a little bit.
See Matthew Betts with that little push on Drew Brown at the end of this play. I wonder if he was watching. Remember when Nathan Rourke got hit by Pickett after he handed the ball off? Betts said, yeah, we can do that too. Both guys got away with it. Be careful with that.
Brown under pressure, taken down, ball pops out. RedBlacks do recover.
Matthew Betts is going to create this issue for Drew Brown. Came up with the ball, but Betts is the guy who's going to create the issue. He's coming from this bottom of your screen, and he's going to come around and watch how it gets so low on this rush. It's so hard for offensive linemen, and Pelios in this case, to get his hands on him. Comes low and around the corner. That flushes Drew Brown, and then Betts' teammates pick him up.
They only set to hunt it away again. Oh, gets all of this one, doesn't he? Holy smokes. That bounces at the 30 all the way down to the 20. Williams will take that. He's taken down, and that was a big leg. And, well, speaking of big legs, how about the career starting right here in Victoria of Dave Cutler? This is where his high school was, right here
No yards. Ottawa number 20.
He didn't play football till late in the process. Moved to Victoria at 5 years old and ended up going to Simon Fraser University and then became one of the great kickers of all time. Also Louis Passaglia here in the house. Two legends. There's Dave Cutler. 2,230.
When he retired, that point total was the most in all of professional football. Still holds up his 8th. That's the type of career he had.
2 high percentage kickers on the field currently. And then we also had a chance to run into Louis Passaglia, who's here. And if you take Louis Passaglia's numbers, 3,991 points. You take the next 5 kickers for the BC Lions, and one of them is Sean White, by the way, number 3. The next 5 combined doesn't add up to 3,991
That's remarkable.
Points. Couple of legends, couple of goats in the house in the kicking department, and 2 guys on the field that are through the roof with kicking percentage.
Sean White's just the 8th field goal kicker in league history to hit 500 field goals. So a couple of future Hall of Famers on the field today, and a couple of Hall of Famers off the field watching.
Damon Webb's having a good year. He really is. I mean, statistically, he's having a great year. He's got an interception tonight. He's got a couple quarterback sacks. He sacked Rourke last week on a blitz, and he's putting together a great campaign in that secondary.
Andrews will go back for it. Dedmon apparently has left the game, will not return. Andrews takes it and walks out of bounds just shy of the 45 here in Victoria, where we've had a absolutely picture perfect day down on the water. Feels like it's always that way when you visit Victoria, doesn't it? CFL OK Tire Labor Day weekend on TSN continues as the Blue Bombers take on the Riders tomorrow. 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. Absolute. I mean, they're all great.
Oh, yeah.
But this is a huge one between the Riders and Bombers this year.
Hamilton sold out. Mosaic Stadium sold out. They're selling standing room only in Mosaic Stadium for this Labor Day weekend.
The Andrew Bowl already sold out in Winnipeg as well for the second half of that home and home. We got the second half of this one, and it's been all BC Lions. Brown hands it off. Armstead hasn't been able to get much going today. I'd like to welcome people joining us on TSN 3 and 5, coming off a little MLS action. You've got here in time to witness the rest of the BC Lions bounce back, and that's really what it is. This team has just seemed so out of sorts. VA gets injured, Rourke comes in, looks a little rusty. Looks like they're firing back on all cylinders so far here today.
And maybe best defensive effort in the last month and a half.
Lots of pressure this time. Brown got it away just in time. Looks like it'll be a first down for Ottawa.
Yeah, nice hit by TJ Lee, who's playing linebacker, and really it's a tweener position. It's the Sam linebacker or strong side linebacker, the linebacker that would always line up to the field if you're on the hash mark offensively. But he's often basically just covering that third receiver for the opposing offense out there. So they feel like that would, getting him closer to the line of scrimmage is going to help this team. I think it has.
Brown wastes no time again, gets that one away, finds Rhymes. That's his 4th catch of the game, has a touchdown today as well. For an Ottawa offense, missing a couple of key pieces. Eli Stove's actually been a pretty bright spot today. Targeted 8 times, caught 7 of them, leads the team in receiving yards. Rookie out of Auburn. Second one here. Toss it out. Armstead tripped up immediately and taken down by Peters. That play went nowhere.
He is cutting underneath. There he is right there. And if you're going to stack your receivers and put them this close to a running play, then you're going to involve DBs in the run support. he beats the block.
The block was coming from Andre Miller, who's playing in his first CFL game.
3-down football for Bob Dice now.
A loss of 3 yards on that last play. Down the field, Hardy's got it, stays on his feet, takes it inside the 30, and then is tracked down eventually. 4th catch of the game for Hardy.
You know, the really good receivers will make really tough catches look routine, and I would suggest this is one of them. It's low and away as he's running full speed across the field, and he makes it look so routine to just kind of reach down and scoop that one up.
Fresh set of downs from the BC 26. Brown towards the end zone, laid it up there, and Miller could not haul it in.
Yeah, Andre Miller just mistimed his jump. He may have lost it. The sun's setting here in Victoria.
The flag in the end zone there.
See what the flag is, but he's going to run the corner route, and watch out just at the top of the route here when the ball's about to arrive. He kind of misjudges his time to jump, and he's on his way down when the ball gets there.
He's a big guy.
It's Manny Rugamba going up and not letting him get a second chance at it.
Here we go.
After the play, misconduct, foul, 10 yards. BC number 33. That makes it a first down.
What did Rugamba do? Oh. No, you can't. Yeah, you can't.
The old finger guns.
No.
They'll get you on that one. So down to the BC 16. Armstead seems a little fired up as we look back towards the sideline. Brown looks to the end zone again, and that one's broken up, almost intercepted after looking in the direction of Rhymes, but the coverage was there. TJ Lee is all over the place in this defense.
Yeah, and I think that Ryan Phillips may have found a pretty good combination here. Basically what he did with TJ Lee is switch positions with Rugamba. Put Rugamba at his halfback spot into the boundary with Gary Peters, a veteran over there. So he's got that to help Rugamba if he needs it, and put him closer to the line. He's made some plays tonight. This is a better combination.
Empty backfield. Get it away quickly. Stove inside the 10. Got lifted up and over. There's TJ Lee in there again. It's his 9th tackle of the game. Has a knockdown as well.
But fair to say that the RedBlacks have missed 3 important pieces. Addison, Ackland, and on defense, Santos not.
Yeah, that's right. Another 3rd down. This time they'll need 3. Brown, nowhere to go. Varga makes the play immediately as they threw it to the fullback, Gosling.
You know, he has not only worked his way into a rotation player, but Ryder Varga of the University of Regina has become the starter. And as the starter, this is his 3rd straight start, as a matter of fact, at that weak side linebacker, or will linebacker, most teams call it. He keeps making plays. I mean, last week in Ottawa, 6 defensive tackles, a knockdown, and a fumble recovery. And we've seen him out in space make some plays like this.
Has a sack today, too.
Yeah.
There is a flag that the officials are discussing, so either team is sure which unit should be out there right now. Ottawa's got about 3/4 of their roster on the field. Long discussion here amongst the officials. Rick Campbell's walked all the way out. And looks like this will be against
After the play,
Falanico.
it's a 10-yard misconduct foul against BC 79. It's half the distance to goal. First down, BC.
Well, Ottawa will stay on the field
BC
again.
79, it's a second foul, and he's ejected from the game.
Giuliano Falanico ejected from the game. Safe to say he's not pleased. First year out of USC.
They're saying he got into it with Dino Boyd at some point. We're trying to find a shot of it.
Teammates trying to calm him down. Playing it up to the crowd a little bit. Officials on the field waiting for him to exit.
Yeah, 2 personal fouls, you're out.
Somebody may have slapped Dino Boyd in the face. They exchanged misconduct penalties earlier in the game. Came back around to it again. Significant advantage in that penalty department for BC, who's been relatively disciplined so far in this game outside of Giuliano Falanico. Nathan Rourke, 7 yards away from a 300-yard game. 3 touchdowns and a pick, and has his Lions in the driver's seat here. Hand it off out towards the 10.
Well, it's been quite a difference. So you think about the start of the season for the Lions, and they got on that after the game 1. They got on that 5-game winning streak, and you look at their offensive numbers at that time, pretty impressive. I mean, 31 points per game, 368 yards passing per game, and then in the 5-game losing streak, how that has dropped off so for so many reasons, and it's both offense and defense.
Completion is stand back, and he'll take it out in his huge day. Yeah, that continues.
That's a big play. Get out of the shadow of your goalpost. But they're over 400 yards in net offense and already at 38 points, which is back to how they started this season.
Nathan Rourke has himself a 300-yard game in Touchdown Pacific. Lions got it on cruise control, leading 38-12 as we hit 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Well, welcome back to Victoria, where Chinatown is the second oldest in North America. San Francisco, the other, established in 1858 as miners moved north from California.
Some cool buildings here, isn't there?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
great to
real
walk
heritage,
around,
yeah, heritage buildings. We showed you the Empress Hotel, and
legislature buildings, beautiful.
Parliament buildings built back in 1897. Huge thank you to the people of Victoria. It's been tremendous hospitality throughout the last few days, and this has been more like a festival, almost like a Grey Cup festival than just a game.
And off to Stanback. That's his 23rd touch of the ball game for over 155 yards.
Parliament buildings here in Victoria. Again, built back in 1897. Told you about some of the great sporting events that have been here, but just a beautiful scenery. Great salmon fishing right in your backyard. And again, tremendous hospitality. The Amar Doman takes it up another notch in investing in growing the game and making the BC Lions a provincial team, not just a team in Vancouver.
Back to Stanback again, and he's got another first down. My sisters live here in Victoria, and it's easy to see why they're always so happy.
It is a
no real winter.
It is
you're just relaxing.
A little slower pace too,
yeah,
right?
It is a slower pace.
Ordering your coffee takes a little bit longer. It's okay.
Very
just
casual.
relax.
It's I don't know. They're just not. They don't seem to be in a rush anywhere.
And again, CFB Esquimalt, I want to shout out real quickly one more time to the men and women, the Canadian Forces and Canadian Navy, over 4,500 people, military personnel at CFB Esquimalt, almost 3,000 civilian personnel working there. Thank you for your service to every one of them.
Lions finishing this game the way they started it, Suits. Yeah, with Stanback, who I know Rourke was great today, like 325 yards, 3 touchdowns. But Stanback was really the straw that stirred this drink in the early going.
Yeah, big part of the game plan, no question about it. And, you know, both running and catching the ball at the backfield. In fact, he missed a long one for a touchdown at the back of the end zone that would have really blown the numbers up even more. But 79 yards receiving, or 78 yards receiving for Stanback. Almost 100 yards rushing. Big game for 31.
Needs 4 more yards for 100. Ball pops out. Ottawa trying to hop on it. Rourke is involved. And they'll push the BC quarterback away.
Well, those are ones where I'm sure Rick Campbell is just holding his breath that Nathan Rourke doesn't hurt a thumb or something trying to recover this, because that's just automatic. He's going to move to that football immediately.
Vernon Adams, words of encouragement on the sideline. Excellent 1-2 punch they've got themselves.
Yeah, and he's ready. He's almost ready, Vernon Adams, to be healthy and dressed on the sideline for sure.
Ottawa.
And what Rick Campbell does moving forward with that is going to be very interesting.
Well, it's a nice problem to have. Wow, Brad, how many teams in this league for years and years and years have been trying to find one quarterback? BC Lions sitting here with 2.
An MOP front runner after 6 weeks of the season. And then Nathan Rourke back, who, as you mentioned, is over 300 tonight and looks like he is back to close to his form from 2 years ago.
Well, Vernon Adams had 5 300-yard games.
Yeah.
In the first 6 of the season.
Ottawa's situation at quarterback is nice right now too.
It's
Drew
been
Brown,
solidified, yep.
Jeremiah Masoli.
Meyer hangs this one up there. On the return, Dandridge. It's a short one.
So what's back with Nathan Rourke? What's back? What's back is it's timing.
Yes.
What's back is his recognition and quickness in delivery. And what's back is his reading of the defense, scanning the defense, knowing where to throw it, and getting it there with great accuracy. And I think he will still have his moments, and there's still going to be times when he throws an interception, and there's still going to be times when the defense wins and all of that. But outstanding Canadian from a couple of years ago, it looks like he's getting closer and closer to that form.
His brother playing today as well for Indiana. 15 of 24, 180 yards, touchdown, top of the CFL Scouting Bureau fall rankings.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he ends up getting drafted to, and then what happens with the NFL draft as well. But you know, there are many that think Curtis is as good or better than Nathan. I'm going to wait big time on that. I mean, this is the show me state. How do they say that? You got to come out and actually do it. And you know, we saw Rourke do that in his first year. Just how potentially good this offense and this BC Lion team could be with him at the controls. And again, taking nothing away from Vernon Adams. That's why it'll be interesting to hear how, you know, Rick Campbell was not going to sign or trade Vernon Adams. The only way that he was going to bring back Nathan Rourke was if Vernon Adams was part of this team. And he has been nothing but a great teammate to Nathan Rourke as he's coming back from his injury.
Drew Brown has been a bright spot on the other side for Ottawa, but it just wasn't meant to be today. Touchdown Pacific. goes to the Lions 38-12 in convincing fashion. They snap a 5-game losing streak, and Rourke back into the win column for the first time since rejoining the club.
Over 300 yards passing. Big game for William Stanback. Ryan Phillips moving that defense around. A lot of personnel changes and juggling of the personnel, and looks like he might have found the right formula.
Yeah, both sides of the ball. Dominant from the BC Lions today. Stanback, huge part of it. 171 yards combined through the air and on the ground. 26 touches for Stanback in this football game. BC to the red zone 5 times, 4 of those finishing in touchdowns, the other in a field goal, as they took advantage of the opportunities that they had so far.
Matthew Betts gets 1 sack in his return. BC
and other pressures.
Yep, a couple of pressures and a couple of tackles. He's back. That helped their defense.
Farhan Lalji standing by with Nathan Rourke.
Nathan, a big first half for you, and then you were able to close it out. What was different? What were you seeing differently in this one?
In the whole game?
Well, just especially in that first half when you were really lighting it up.
We're just executing. Honestly, like last game, same defense, same kind of plan. We didn't execute at a high level. They did. They won the game. This time, we executed a little bit better, and the score reflected that. So happy that we were able to do that.
When you have Will doing what he's doing, how much easier does that make your job?
Amazing. Just a great player. We only got one, him and Mackey, right? So he's taking a brunt of the load. He's in the pass game. He's in the run game. Today, it was a hot day. He was gassed, but he pushed through it. Those guys, big guys up front, paved the way for him. It was great to see him. Pleasure to be his teammate.
A lot was made about you coming back here to your birthplace. Just what was this environment like, and just this whole event for you?
Yeah, they did a great job. Fans showed up. It was awesome to play in front of this crowd. Great venue. Really worked out. Beautiful day, and even better when we come out with a win.
Hey, thanks for this.
Thank you.
Yeah, and for the Ottawa RedBlacks, they'll be back. It's this, they had won, and I should say they had not lost in 6 straight games, 5 wins there and a tie, and just 3 key pieces, 2 on offense, 1 on defense that were missing, and it looked like they were missing in this one tonight for Bob Dice.
They had won 5 of their last 6, mixed in a tie as well. So that unbeaten streak comes to an end, and as far as streaks coming to an end, BC Lions snap a 5-game slide in convincing fashion as touchdown Pacific becomes beat down Pacific.
Time
Lions,
for some seafood.
38-12, no chance. Lions are back in the win column. West gets more interesting. That's going to do it from Victoria. Thank you for joining us. Sports Center's coming up next.
Welcome to Sports Center. She's Laura. I'm Nikki. Let's begin in the CFL. Touchdown Pacific. Laura, the Lions looking to stop their losing streak, and the RedBlacks looking to keep their streak going. Something got to give.
The Lions needed this one, and they needed it bad. They started the year losing their opener to the Argos, won 5 in a row, then lost 5 in a row. But after this, they may think, hey, we should play every game in Victoria. Yes, it is the inaugural Touchdown Pacific game, and it is the first time a CFL game has ever been played on Vancouver Island. Nathan Rourke, a Victoria native, still in search of his first touchdown since his return to the CFL. First drive of the game from the goal line. It's Rourke, and he's back in the end zone, doing it in his hometown. Not sure about the celebration, but he has time to work on that. Now 10-0 in the second. Rourke this time takes a huge hit and still delivers the touchdown to Alex Hollins. It's Frankie Griffin doing the honors on Rourke. And after the hit, Rourke, I see you, bud. I see you. Rourke with his first passing touchdown makes it 17-0 BC, and now 24-6 late in the half.
Up the hill.
Have been for a while.
Yeah, 10 of 13. Rourke, look at this.
Down the field, has a man, touchdown, Eberhardt. Rourke Rourke strikes again.
Rourke with 243 first-half yards, 3 total touchdowns. The Lions up 25 at the break when Rourke caught up with her own Farhan Lalji.
You think so?
16 of 20, almost 250 yards and a couple of touchdowns.
We're up 31-6. That's all I really care about. Thanks, Farhan. Appreciate it.
Well,
he's in a hurry.
Short but sweet, right to the point. Matthew Betts making his return in this game as well in the third. The 2023 most outstanding defensive player making his impact felt after being cut by the Lions of the NFL back on Tuesday. Betts officially signed with BC on Thursday. And gets a sack on Saturday. Let's go back to Rourke. We're now in the fourth quarter. Lions still in control. It's 31-12. Rourke to Justin McInnes. Works his way in there. Rourke's third touchdown pass of the game. BC up by 26 points. And yes, they would cruise to the win, saying bye-bye to that 5-game losing skid as Nathan Rourke picks up his first CFL victory since the West semifinal back on November the 6th, 2022. That 5-game losing skid over. It's the Lions' first win since back on July the 13th. Well, yes, Ottawa saw a 6-game unbeaten streak come to an end. The RedBlacks with their first loss since July the 5th. Let's get you back to Victoria where we find Catherine Burness and our CFL panel.
Back alongside David Sanchez, Matt Dunnigan, Milt Stegall, one last time from beautiful Victoria, BC. And the BC Lions did not disappoint these 14,000 fans. And Milt, it all started with the hometown boy. He was born here in Victoria. Yes, he was raised in Ontario. But for this, we'll say that he's the hometown boy in Nathan Rourke. My goodness, he was incredible in this game. 325 passing yards, the 3 TDs. He was the main reason the Lions snapped their streak.
Yes, and the win was important. And some people may disagree with me when I say this, but Nathan Rourke playing well was even more important than this win. I know it's all about the win, but you needed your quarterback to play well. We haven't seen that in his first 2 games. He hadn't thrown a touchdown pass, and we saw what he did in this game. He went through 3 touchdown passes and looked comfortable. He didn't look comfortable in those first 2 games. He looked comfortable, he looked composed, and everyone was feeding off of him. And the man who was really feeding off of him more than anyone was star running back William Stanback. He led both teams in rushing and receiving. So if Nathan Rourke continues playing like this, the defense plays the way they play, hey, the skies is the limit for this team, and we may see them in Vancouver in the Grey Cup.
I think Nathan Rourke put it best. The difference between winning and losing is minimal. They made more plays and they were more consistent and they shored up the mistakes and they got the job done. And Ottawa simply didn't respond. I thought that BC came out with a jump in their step, and we saw from the halftime lack of interview from Nathan Rourke. I thought that was brilliant. I loved his mindset there. He got 30 more minutes of football to play. I can't be talking about stats. It's all about being up 31-6. Let's go get this W, and he simply went and got it. And I think one of the big reasons why they did, Milt, is because you got William Stanback. You mentioned him. 26 touches. Yep. That's a bell cow right there. And you also heard Nate talk about we only got 2 guys, and William had to step up and take that load upon himself and deliver. He did it through the air and on the ground. When you have balance like that offensively, good things are going to happen for a young quarterback. I think Nathan Rourke certainly learned that today.
Yeah, and adding a one piece seemed to change how this whole defense moved around today, and that was Matthew Betts, just the energy he brought. Now, you saw it from Tehama. Christian Covington got a sack. This Lions team coming into this week, I think they're 8th in the CFL in sacks. And this defense, the way they're built, Ryan Phillips wants to play zone defense. He wants to rush forward. He wants to see routes. I play with Ryan. I understand what he likes and how he sees this defense, even talking to him about it. Right now, they're 3rd most snaps of cover 1 in the CFL and the 2nd most all-out blitz. They don't want to have to play that way. They want to play zone, but they can't do it because they're not getting to the quarterback. 4 sacks tonight. Again, 8th in the CFL in sacks, 4 tonight, but a completely different defense with the addition of Matthew Betts and just the energy he brings. It's a numbers game. Right. He's going to get to the quarterback. You know it. You can rush for and be certain he's going to get there.
BC Lions back on track. Thank you to Victoria. Incredible host, to say the least. Yes. And by the way, too, I think we should come back because this is a lucky place for all of us. Guess what? Any time touchdown score. We all win.
Oh, that's awesome.
We had an incredible time on the West Coast. Can't wait for the rest of Labor Day weekend. And once again, thank you, Victoria. We had ourselves an incredible time.
All right, well, that Lions defense had an incredible time as well tonight. Gary Peters now, new on SC.
Gary, there'll be a lot of talk about the offense that was pretty explosive in the first half, but this might have been as good a defensive performance as you guys have had this year. What was the difference?
Absolutely. We came out here with an edge that I ain't seen all season. You know, I feel like we finally got it right in the back end. We had a lot of moving parts, and I told you earlier in the week, I feel like this is the group that we need to have in the back end. And then adding Betts in, that was just an extra boost for us, you know. Him coming off the edge, you don't got to cover long. So for us, we came out here with aggression and a mindset that I've seen all week in practice, and I just knew it was going to carry over. 2
issues for this team when you guys were losing 5 straight. Tackling was poor, and second down penalties. None of that happened at all. You got a grass field, you might be more likely to slip. Why was the tackling so good?
It's just a mindset, you know. You plug a guy like Ron in, he's ready to go full speed and hit every time, and he's only 150 pounds soaking wet, and that's just infectious. You move TJ to Sam, he likes being by the ball. So for us, you know, we always had the aggressiveness in us. We just had to bring it out, you know. And why not today? All these fans that came all the way over here to see us, we didn't want to disappoint, and we feel like this is a turning point for us for the rest of the season.
When you see Nathan play like that, much like VA played earlier in the year, how much more confidence does that give a defense?
Anytime, no matter who's out there, anytime we get to sit on the sideline, you know, and let the time go down, we're going to build our confidence up. And they're scoring 7s instead of 3s. It's going to help us that much more. But I always knew Nate can do it. I never lost faith in Nate. I talk to him all the time, and I know what type of player he is. So for me, it didn't surprise me at all. I'm just happy we got it done.
Thanks for this.
Thank you so much, Far.
Well, there's a reason they call it the Wild, Wild West. And yes, things are wild when it comes to the West Division standings. So Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, and BC all came into this week's action with 5 wins on the season. As you can see, BC the first to get to 6. As for the East, the RedBlacks remain 5 points back in Montreal for top spot in that division.